I was a little bit surprised.
Especially if the Tigers want to take this Sivir Gragas in the first round. I think they have so many tools to get on top of Varus in that situation that you don't necessarily have to take it away. They could be worried about Kuro's laning phase, constantly getting poked out, however. As a team, Sivir Gragas, you can definitely deal with the Varus.
That's a good point. So 2 more picks over to SK Telecom. Cassiopeia would be a very strong pickup for Faker, of course.
He is still professionally undefeated on Cassiopeia.
True enough. Bang's been playing plenty of Corki. Bang's been playing pretty much plenty of everything in the meta right now. As far as junglers go, you've still got a lot of good options for Bengi, so I suppose you don't really need to pick anything for him now. He's got the Rek'Sai he can choose, which I think, you know, if I had to think about jungle threats, I feel like Rek'Sai is a bigger threat than Faker's Varus, if we're really talking about how big this Varus ban is.
Yeah, and you could just be going for the Evelynn.
Well, that would be a bit
looking
interesting.
to deal with this Gragas, apply some early pressure like the Gragas can.
True enough.
So when we have Rumble already locked in for Marin, of course, one of Marin's best champions. We often see bans against SK Telecom that particular pick. They've got a lot of long-range engage, so this is going to mean that the KOOTigers can't pick something too stationary in the mid lane or AD carry position if they don't want to get flanked.
It's already making that Sivir pick a bit risky. You know, I mean, picking it so early, do you think that was too much of a chance?
You can just run forward onto the Rumble and avoid the flank, and they're going to go ahead and take the Azir and the Hecarim.
It's starting to look like a KT composition coming out of the KOOTigers right now. Lots of hard engage.
Yeah.
Heavy dive.
Yeah, this will be really interesting. Much more fast-paced, balls-to-the-wall composition from the Tigers than we're used to seeing. They tend to be a more reserved, poke-heavy team, generally speaking, but they're going to be trying to fight fire with fire here. And what are the last 2 picks going to be? Cassiopeia would be okay here.
What about like a Morgana, actually? Something to potentially stop some of that engage? That probably wouldn't work. I think Cassiopeia is going to be what they're going to go
in the mid lane. I think they need more damage out there.
Okay. Huh.
I don't know if this is a mid-Rumble or if it's going to be a mid-Aurelia.
Interesting. All right, well, Corki Aurelia chosen, and Gorilla may just be going with that safe Janna pick, but KOOTigers have got to be scratching their heads right now. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Gorilla on your screen right now, he looks a bit confused.
Yeah, I think you just take the Janna because you want to disengage, and as soon as the Q is used onto Aurelia, she just has to run back in. I don't know which one of these Faker is going to play. I would suspect this is a mid-Aurelia.
You know, I mean, he has played plenty of mid-Riven in the past. I mean, playing some of those melee AD mids isn't without precedent for Faker, so maybe?
Regardless, SKT has set them up for a 2-item power spike with this team composition pretty much. If it goes late, they're going to have a lot of problems. Same could have been said, and in fact was said by me last week about their Varus Lucian new comp. But they executed the timing very well. They baited Najin into a bad fight and a bad timing for Najin. So it will be Janna at the support position, looking just for some more peel in that back line.
Maybe this will be a mid-Rumble after all here.
I mean, they have 4 melee champions, and it should be mid-Aurelia. That would be my assumption here, because you're going to be able to get on top of the Azir and stun him very effectively.
Well, it is, they've got about 15 more seconds to switch it. You're allowed to change champions up until 20 seconds until the lobby ends.
Yeah, pretty sure we're going to stick with this one just because Rumble would have a harder time farming in the mid lane against the Azir.
That's true.
Generally speaking, doesn't have that same sustain that Aurelia has with E10 style.
Wow, well, Faker on Aurelia.
Stofe looks very confused right now in the booth.
No, the agony of the no-fake continues, man. The Champion Spring Finals were pretty rough for him, and it's not looking any easier running into SK Telecom here in their first duel in the summer season.
Well, I can tell you right now, I don't even have to look it up. This is Faker's first game on Aurelia professionally. Well, this is why Faker's Faker. He can pull out such a staggering array of champion picks and matchups that it's extremely difficult to prepare for him. We'll see if this counter pick to Azir works. I am obviously quite unfamiliar with this matchup, but it'll be interesting to see what Faker is going to be maxing in this lane. I would assume E.
Faker is like the only person who, when he says he can play everything, he really can play everything, guys. And let's see who takes game 1, SKT versus KOOTigers. Let's get in the game.
타이거즈는 기세가 언제 살아날지 지금 좀 불안한데요, 확실히.
All right, wow. That's exciting. As we go into SK Telecom T1 versus KOOTigers. SKT fans and the KOOTigers fans as well packing the studio today. Pretty high-profile match to start things off with, but certainly a match that on paper or based on recent results seems a bit one-sided. Wow, Bengi taking some pretty heavy damage from Smeb, but dealing a bit himself as well with those hate spikes. Marin coming up. Doesn't even need to throw out one of those harpoons. Uh-oh. Oh, Marin. Ooh, this is interesting. Bengi actually taking a lot of damage.
That's actually really huge.
Yeah, it is. They prevent that recall, and that's going to make it a bit tough for Bengi to get back in position in time.
Well, Wisdom taking quite a bit of damage as well, but we can see Smeb right there just burning an early flask charge since he's going to be going to a jungle camp anyway and then recalling to refill his flask. So that little bit of harassment, Bengi does have a chance to go back at this stage, and
a little bit slower start though. Not going to be out in the jungle at 154 like you would normally want to be if you were playing jungle.
And Grog is still going to be delayed as well. And here we go. The harassment coming in. Looks like it will be a Q start. And I have no idea what to think about this mid Aurelia Doa. Obviously, we're going to be taking a look at this matchup and seeing if we can dissect it a little bit as it evolves.
Faker playing mid Varus, now busting out the mid Aurelia. We just don't know what we're going to... These last two seasons, you just never know what Faker's going to pick.
Yep.
I mean, as diverse as his champion pool was before, in 2015, it's gotten like... It feels like it's gotten like twice as deep, you know?
He did play something like 13 different champions last season out of the mid lane, so it was
pretty insane.
Pretty large number. And, of course, Azir, before he gets an ability to move those sand soldiers, if he puts a soldier down, Aurelia can just Q him immediately and start autoing him early, and that's kind of what we're seeing in the mid lane. Playing pretty aggressively. No wards yet down around mid to help him out. Bengi and Wisdom with the slower starts due to that kind of wacky early skirmish.
I suppose after losing a little bit of health, Aurelia would be fairly safe against ganks with the Equilibrium Strike. It's hard to judge, I guess, because we haven't really seen it much, but...
Well, short lane, too. She has a good amount of ability.
Yeah, true.
And also, she has that CC reduction as well on her passive, so it does make her harder to lock down.
He's been farming well. He does have a tiny bit of a CS lead, but you do get poked when you go in to grab CS. I mean, those sand soldiers are going to get auto attacks off. So he will be taking some damage anyway.
Yeah, I really don't know what this matchup is supposed to do. That's why we're going to take a look at it. Can't wait to see what exactly he's going to be maxing. Bang with the 90.9% career win rate on Corki.
Wow. And he's played quite a few Corki games, too.
Was a priority for Korean teams. First pick worthy a lot of the time.
Yep.
Throughout the spring season.
Certainly was. Is Toboggan Corki.
Yeah, it's very popular recently, isn't it?
It is, yeah. As long as Red Baron Corki never becomes popular, then I'll be
You love
the
whirring of the propeller, don't
I hate the whirring of the propeller, man. It's like the telltale heart in League of Legends. You hear it long enough, you'll just want to like murder your lane partner.
Interesting.
Any support player that's laned with that Corki will tell you that.
The homage to Poe.
That's right. How could you talk about League of Legends without referencing Edgar Allan Poe, right?
Impossible.
It's so natural, right?
Well, KOOTigers in this composition definitely going to have a pretty big late game edge. They're going to scale a lot better, so SKT, I'm not sure, I mean, with this Aurelia split pushing early, it could be a major threat, but they need to make that work. Wisdom coming in on Marin.
Yeah, trying for a gank onto Marin here. We'll see what he can do. There's the body slam. Marin taking a lot of damage, burns that flash, but he's still very low. Doesn't look like they'll be able to quite finish him off, though.
Yep, Marin again doing that Marin thing. Has a ward in his inventory, does not place it down as he pushes up on Rumble. This is something that is unfortunately rather common for Marin.
It's the comfort ward. You know, he just likes to have it, you know, just in case.
Well, he needs it in his pocket, in his presence. Otherwise, it's no longer comforting to him.
If he puts that ward in the brush, he can't see it. And then it's not doing him any good, right? He's like, I can't see my ward. Where is it? Is the ward okay? What's happening to this ward?
Probably not. Wisdom's going to come back and lens it.
Probably. The ward's days are numbered.
Okay, well, other than that, not a lot of excitement here early on. Wish we could get Aurelia clicked on so I can figure out.
Just use your imagination like all good analysts do, Monte Cristo.
That's right, the power of the imagination.
That's right. Haven't you ever watched Reading Rainbow? Well, Marin able to stay even in CS more or less with Smeb and push him back under turret for now. Faker actually starting to develop a decent little CS lead against Kuro, surprisingly enough.
Well, he's been pushed back under his turret a lot too, so Kuro's been afraid of walking forward lest he get ganked from behind. So there has been that concern.
I suppose that is
running through his mind.
That is kind of one of the things. Is it's hard not to push the lane with Lucian, you know?
Yep. So Faker hits level 6 first, and then
does a ton of damage.
Does a ton of damage. Just goes for a little bit of an all-in with the Transcendent Blades right there. Holds on to his Ignite, but he does burn Kuro's Cleanse.
Well, Bengi goes on to Wisdom, but Wisdom turning around with a decent amount of damage himself. Bengi may have overstepped his limits a little bit here, getting pretty chunked down before making it back into the jungle. Meanwhile, Prey getting very low in bot lane. There's the exhaust as they turn around onto Bang. Bang getting very low, and now Smeb comes in. Bang flashes out of the onslaught of shadows. Marin TP's down as well, but Prey manages to make it out. Gorilla low, and first blood goes to Bang. Wow, that was so close, but in the end, SKT comes out with the first blood.
If Smeb had actually hit his ult onto Bang right there, he probably could have cleaned that one up, but instead,
very patient of Bang to wait for that flash until the last second.
Yeah, so he does in fact turn it around in the end. Bengi looking for a little bit more right here. He's going to at least delay Smeb's recall.
With all those minions there. Well, here he goes.
Nice. So that's just a little something annoying. Marin going to maybe get a slight CS lead as a result of that, but Smeb didn't even have time to buy items yet.
Marin going for the home guard boots, actually, for his first pickup.
That's what Marin loves to do, though. That's just him as a player. He really likes early home guards whenever he can get them. And so he will be just not even going for a haunting, guys. Smeb actually cowl first, so not going to get that early saber for the challenging smite. That means if he's farming the jungle, he's just not going to get as much money out of it either.
All right. Interestingly enough, Faker, because of his ability to dash around, is actually able to dodge a lot of these attacks from the Sand Soldiers.
Well, he also has Phage now, which really helps him with that, too.
Yeah, that does help. Interesting. Again, the CS lead still looking pretty good for Faker in this mid lane.
And he's going to go take a few Sand Soldiers right there. Take some nice chunks, but with that flask, he just can keep on going back to that sustain again with Aurelia's W also.
Right. E10 style.
And I bet you Kuro's not used to playing this matchup, so there's a bit of mind game advantage there too. Comfort for Faker, well, always some questions from Kuro's end. Bengi still not level 6, still walking up, just protecting Marin's booty up here in the top lane.
His robo booty.
His robo booty.
Bengi finds a pink ward. He's going to set it on fire with his fists and claws.
They really want to make this gank work right now. Wolf not yet 6, so he's going to be pretty squishy.
Oh, but pulverize. Here comes Wisdom, though. Wolf immediately flashes out of there. Explosive cast hits Bang. They slow him down enough to get the kill. Wolf, or Gorilla rather, gets that one.
The revenge of Gorilla. Now, can they take a dragon off of this? Bengi's up in the top side trying to steal a red buff at the moment.
If they do, well, Equalizer used there. I was going to say maybe they can dive Smeb, but not without that ultimate. Faker. Kuro pushes Faker back under the turret, so a lot of damage done on both sides. Faker coming out a little bit ahead health-wise, but he's got to watch out. Wisdom coming through, but with no ult and Bengi right there, I think Faker's perfectly safe.
Yeah,
and
Faker
he's also standing a ward.
He also saw his flash, so if he needs to get out, he can. Bengi wants to go for round 2 right here, but with Gorilla also in the mid lane, I don't think that's going to be an attractive option. They're just trying to cover Kuro as he recalls, so no dragon attempt actually coming in for the KOOTigers. Instead, just giving Kuro a little bit of backup. Faker's Ignite was blown on that engage, so
that was a nice ult from Kuro to counter that engage. Oh, Bengi. Kuro has to flash back into the brush. No blue buff for him right now.
That was actually really cute by Bengi, waiting, knowing the timer was going to come up and being able to harass right there. Faker still.
Well, I guess Kuro did get the blue buff after all, so at least he's got that going for him.
Yeah, but forcing that flash against this highly mobile Aurelia is a bit of an issue.
Certainly can be. Faker's just going to swag recall right in the middle of lane.
So there's going to be a big power spike timing here at 2 items for this team. Rumble, Aurelia, and Corky all doing very well, kind of hitting their peak in the terms of power in the game against their opponents with 2 to 3 items. And if they can't make a big lead open up right there, I wouldn't want to go into a 4 or 5 item game against what the KOOTigers are bringing to the table, because pretty much they're going to be outscaled across the board. They are going to be outscaled across the board, with the exception of maybe Alistair against Janna.
I mean, it was like we talked about with the top Nunu mid-Varus game that SKT played. I mean, they had a very narrow window to make it work, and they did make it work. So let's see if they can repeat a rather difficult comp, win here in game number 1 versus the Tigers. Now, nobody's really gone for Dragon yet. SKT with just a bit of vision via that Rift Scuttler. And here comes Wisdom again. They really want to try to focus on this bot lane, apparently.
Trying to find another gank down here.
Oh, I think they spotted him, though.
It's hard to tell from that. I couldn't see myself. And they are just going to actually
Okay.
use the scrying orb on that brush that has a pink board in it.
Oh, blue buff being given over to Faker. And he may just take that right up to the top lane, too. Oh, we'll see.
That was such a nice gank from Wisdom earlier on, where he interrupted the Valk against the wall with his explosive cast. So he made it appear like he was leaving, but it's not the sneakiest Gragas that we've ever seen. He's going to try and be patient and wait this one out, but they may just put another ward in there.
Well, they know he's there. I mean, there's not a whole lot of chances that Bang and Wolf are going to.
Well, they don't know that he stayed there is the thing. They're playing cautiously regardless. They're at least having some respect for the possibility that he could be there. Kuro's continuing just to try and take some of these Raptors here, throwing his Sand Soldiers over the side, not wanting to walk up in CS, putting himself in a long lane situation. Lots of wards.
So Faker maxing E first on this Aurelia.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought he'd be doing.
Well, you were right. Good job.
Thanks. Well, it's just against the Azir, because you assume that when you go in, you're going to have lower HP and therefore get the stun on Equilibrium Strike.
Right.
You have a really, I mean, it's 2.25 seconds at max rank, so it's a really long stun as far as League of Legends goes.
Marin has been able to poke this turret almost all the way down. Just a couple more waves, and he should have SK Telecom's first turret of the game. And once he has that,
Gragas again on the bottom side.
Yep. Oh, he's made it all the way into the bottom brush now. And only Bang there at the moment. Wolf is about to get back. But they've got to be pretty careful. Okay, so they see Wolf coming back with the ward. And Wolf is probably just going to check this brush. Yep, just walking right in. Flash headbutt onto Bang. Nice. Cast coming in. Teleport coming in for the KOOTigers as well. Bang still in a lot of problems. Smeb coming in, and Prey manages to pick up that kill. So another gank on the bot lane, and they're going to try to transition this right into a dragon. Meanwhile, the top turret does go down in favor of SK Telecom at the same time.
So yes, they are trying to at least just snowball this bottom lane right now, trying to take out Bang and Wolf a couple of times in the transition to the dragon. Will they lose a tier 2 in the top side though? Smeb recalling after the dragon has already been taken, so that top turret had a lot of CS just driven into it right there. As we can see, Marin now about 30 CS up.
Yeah.
And has teleport advantage right now, so he has some time to make some pressure plays on the map if he so chooses.
So where do you go, though, with this Rumble? You know, do you try to just watch for an opportunity in bot lane since Dragon is done?
I try and gank mid lane, honestly. Yeah. You can group up right now. You're going to have a double Trinity Force power spike soon with Aurelia and Corky, and you can dive really efficiently by just laying out that equalizer and having the Aurelia follow up. So try and kill this Azir,
I suppose. Smeb's going to pick up a little bit more farm in the top lane now. Bang has been quite camped on the bot lane, and they catch Gorilla here. Bengi and Wolf in the enemy jungle. Gorilla trying to get away. Nice whirlwind, and he has to burn his ult, but at least he makes it out. Used his exhaust, though, there, too.
Yeah, it looks like Smeb and Marin still dueling right here. Smeb finally has the challenging smite. but he is still a little bit scared. Prey has to back way off this tower because SK Telecom got the D-ports in and did a great job of controlling the bottom side. So he knows he's picking them. He knows they're in there right now. They're taking the blue buff, but there's just nothing he can do about it.
Wow, and after the kills, after the Dragon, SKT just seizing control of the bottom half of the map.
Well, this is what was great about what SK Telecom just did. So they knew Marin had pressure topside, and that he was winning the duels with Smeb with his Rumble. And so, as we see Smeb and Marin going at it.
I'd say that's a one duel. Smeb in a lot of trouble, goes down 1v1. Marin gets the kill. Wisdom looking for a bit of revenge. He didn't get the slow on the explosive cask. Didn't quite hit Marin with that ultimate. Marin burned his flash to get away.
But I don't think he could do anything. So
no, he can't get there.
Marin was free to play aggressively because he has 2 pink wards right there and a ward by the Krugs. So gets a great solo kill. And then SKT says, hey, we're going to transition pressure into the bottom side because you have to send one person up to deal with Smeb. So they start the invade.
Whoa, Faker going in on a Prey there. A lot of damage, but taking a bunch of turret hits in the process. I guess Bang and Bengi were there. Thought maybe they could do something to blow him up.
But they blew on the hunt, and they poked Sivir out, so already mission success. So considering they already had pressure, they said, we're putting 2 people in your jungle, and then that meant that Prey was entirely zoned off the turret and he couldn't defend it. So really good map play from SK Telecom, applying pressure in all of the right areas to maximize it. Now Faker's going to start split pushing.
Yep, that's right. This Aurelia is already getting pretty scary with that Trinity Force being done.
SKT has been so good at hitting their power spikes and their timings the last couple of weeks. And again here, this is exactly what they need to do. Get the Aurelia rolling. Who is going to stop the Aurelia right now? Smeb is itemized for magic resist. He can't do it. There's no one else. There's no one else to stop the Aurelia. There's a real threat of Faker just all-inning the AD carry right now. And in the meantime, Bang is just applying pressure in the mid lane with Corki's rockets after the Trinity Force. This is an excellent, excellent timing.
I just feel like
they have to hold on right now. They have good wave clear. The Azir will allow them to turtle if they need to.
I feel like I want to call SKT the puppet masters this season because they seem to be dictating where the enemy team goes on the map pretty much the entire game long.
Well, the thing is you just can't fall into their trap. If you're KOO right now, you just accept the fact you need to just play passively. You got the first dragon, so SKT can't accelerate the game by getting to the 5th dragon stack very quickly. First dragon was also taken late. So at this point, if SKT wants 5 dragons, we're still looking at a 45, 50-minute game where KOO will have a late game advantage by that point. So,
well, that mid lane turret, very, very low. SKT ready to knock down the final outer turret. Second dragon's coming up in about 2 minutes here, too. So, yeah, SKT, or KOOTigers, rather, I mean, yeah, they can just pull back and play passively, but do you think they can stop the push from SKT?
Oh, yeah. I think they have the long-range poke and wave clear in order to deal with that. The question is who's going to stop Faker. As long as Faker keeps split pushing, that's a problem. That's the biggest problem right now.
I suppose. Oh, Marin up on top of the map right now. They've got the ADC and the top laner there. Smeb coming in. Prey pops on the hunt. They try to push Marin back just a little bit. There's the onslaught of shadows. Nice fear. Marin goes right back into Prey. Drops that equalizer. Can he get back to his turret? No flash. Doesn't look like he'll make it, and Prey picks up another kill there.
And Prey just waiting very patiently in that brush, and they push out very far into that lane, into territory that you would think would be dangerous to make that play, but he's got the backup right there. Now the Tigers putting damage onto the mid lane turret. They're going to get it. Faker is not quite going to get the turret in the bottom lane, but he can deal with Smeb in a 1v1.
Yeah, Smeb teleporting to the bot lane to try to save it from Faker's split pushing. Bengi, meanwhile, gets caught in the enemy jungle. Wisdom goes in for the body slam, does a bit of damage. Nice knock up from that whirlwind. Wolf comes in, pushes Wisdom back again. Kuro joining the fight as well. Faker comes in, but it doesn't want to fight that 4v3. They want to wait for Bang to get there, and he almost is. Is he going to falcon over the wall? He is. Going way in. There's a teleport coming in for Marin as well. Gets knocked back by the Emperor's Divide immediately, though. And it looks like the Tigers are going to be able to disengage, getting poked out heavily, so this could lead to a tier 2 turret and a dragon on the way out for SKT. They might just go with the dragon here.
I think they just go with the dragon right now and then see what they can do in a little bit. So KOOTigers playing the map well, though. Got the pick in the top side before the dragon was coming up, so it's pretty safe for them to do. They take out the mid lane tier 1 turret at the same time, so they actually get their first tower of the game in that instance, and they get some damage down on the top side also. SKT not really coming out with a whole lot besides the Dragon, and it's just their first of the game. So KOO holding on pretty well right now.
It's nice to get that little boost in attack damage and magic damage, though, for SK Telecom. So we'll see if they can use that to push any farther into the opponent's side of the map right now. They still have the bottom side pretty well warded.
Marin going for the Rylai's first.
Oh, wow.
Wants the slow zones and the control. So they're trying to isolate targets for Aurelia right now to just burn down with a bunch of auto attacks.
Makes sense.
And true damage.
Makes sense.
So not the most high damage build, but this is all is set up for the Aurelia and the Corki when they're at their maximum point of damage, and they don't want KOO to have such a large degree of mobility in these team fights.
I gotta say too, I've liked the pressure that Wisdom has been able to put on the game so far for the KOOTigers.
Wisdom's had some great ganks.
He looks very comfortable on that Gragas, and after, you know, the problems that the KOOTigers were having with Lee, this may be a bit of a bright spot, you know, no matter what happens this series.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is the time, though, for SKT. They have to get more right now. They're only 1,000 gold in the lead. That's not enough.
I feel like this season has been SK Telecom playing a game of what champions can we win with in the mid lane, you know? Like, what should we try this week? Varus? Oh, we did that. Let's try Aurelia this time around. Let's see if Faker can win with Aurelia.
Well, he did put the pressure down on Kuro early, but Kuro has bounced back with some solid CS number. Bengi just going to clear that slow with the Evelyn W and pop right out of the pit.
I think if that all-in that Faker had attempted had worked, we'd be in a bit of a different situation with this Aurelia. And it was close, but Kuro was able to kind of fend it off, and I think that that might cause SKT some problems in the late game.
Faker split pushing in the top side. This is where you want your mid laner split pushing if there's no Dragon to be taken right there, because you're responding to the possibility of a Baron in the mid game with your top laner, typically who has teleport up, not in this case, but...
Right. Well, Marin, regardless, pushing that bot lane, and SK Telecom just trying to get a 1-3-1 going and just trying to split up the KOOTigers. I mean, it's hard to play defensively when you're putting yourself in these kind of risky 1v1 situations, I suppose.
Yeah. Also, Marin, that's really annoying for a melee champion like Hecarim to deal with that constant slowing, because there's no way you can not get kited in that situation by Electro Harpoons.
And if Hecarim gets slowed, he legitimately does less damage too.
Yep.
Just kind of interesting. Looks like this mid turret is going to go down very soon. Just a couple more auto attacks from Bang. If Wolf had tanked that, they probably could have taken it out. No rush though. I mean, no real crucial objectives at the moment to worry about. Luden's finished on Kuro now, so he'll be having a little bit more damage, a little bit more poke because of that.
Much better vision control. Look at that. 5 pink wards on the map down for SK Telecom this game. 5.
Very nice.
So rare to see that this early on, but throughout this entire game, they've been winning the vision battle. Just getting the deep wards in, keeping their own ward line up and protecting it very well. There hasn't been enough clearing so far from the KOOTigers, and that means that they don't have any eyes on Baron right now. That is a very dangerous prospect.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, once you kind of control the vision like this, you make it very difficult for roles like the ADC to try to catch up if they start getting behind too. So, Prey not behind right now, ahead in fact over Bang, but still kind of being a little bit on edge.
But they're slowly getting pushed in. But
yeah,
again, KOO have done a very good job of turtling here.
Perhaps a bit too slowly, huh?
Well, yeah, I think SKT, they're missing their window right now. They haven't gotten a whole lot, and it's just been a long time coming. So if KOO doesn't fight this next Dragon either, if they just try and give that up, maybe push out their lanes, try and take that tier 1 in the top side, hold on to their mid lane themselves, they'll be in prime position to just head into the late game and
now if that
outscale.
If that happens, does that kind of put like a lot of pressure on SK Telecom to find a way to get a Baron, because you need those sort of big buffs to have some relevance in the later stages of the game?
Or to get a pick.
Yeah.
They have to start using this vision a little better to set up picks and force KOOTigers to face check something.
Makes sense. Either way, it's still a little bit of a gold lead anyway for SK Telecom. 1 minute away from that third Dragon. Both teams with one at the moment. Faker already setting things up with the Rift Scuttler.
Has the Frozen Heart now.
Yep.
So getting pretty tanky.
And not necessarily against magic damage, though.
Well, but two of the major threats are physical damage, so
yeah.
that's still going to be pretty useful. And he has the Merc Treads, too. He should be mobile enough that Azir won't be doing too much damage to him in these team fights.
So about 30 seconds now until Dragon for game number 1 here.
This is Dragon coming up next. SK Telecom already has a lot of priority on that side of the map. They're going to take the blue buff away as well. Bengi grabbing it, and they don't have mid lane pushed out, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's hard for them to get that edge considering they haven't yet taken out the mid lane turret.
You know, if you let mid lane push up a little bit too, perhaps, you can try to give the KOOTigers kind of a difficult decision. You know, do they want to maybe try to focus on mid and give up the Dragon, or do they try to come in and fight?
Well, Marin is at least pushing the top side up, so there's no way really that the Tigers can trade for something right here. They have to go for this Dragon or just give it up right off the bat.
Nice spell shield from Prey. Dragon is live, and SK Telecom looking to take it. They've got Koo kind of bottled up in that little choke point.
Just holding off right there for the moment. And playing patiently. So Koo wants to delay this Dragon until Smeb pushes that lane all the way back up into the tier 1. So that they can at least trade something if SKT actually starts the Dragon. While controlling the mid side, making sure, and there they go, they found Marin.
Yeah, they're going to try to make a pick here. Marin drops it, equalizes. Smeb teleporting in behind, though. There's the onslaught of shadows. Wolf coming to try to save him. Can't do it. Wolf suddenly almost finds himself in a 1v5. Here comes Resk of SKT. They're getting some decent poke in. If they can poke down the KOOTigers enough, they can maybe take Dragon because of the ults used, and we'll see if they want to trade for this tier 2 here. They've got the Azir turret down as well. Yep, there goes the tier 2. And can SK Telecom even take this Dragon?
Really good move by the Tigers. They haven't been that good at setting up these picks. Now they're going to go on to Smeb. Faker's there. Faker's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, not doing any in return to this Hecker, and Bengi in the middle of everything right now, getting totally caught out. Explosive cast used. Wolf comes in. There's a 4-man pulverize. Kuro knocked back into the play, and Faker takes him out. Bang on the run now. Smeb trying to chase him down, but here comes Faker and Wolf from behind. Bengi re-entering the fight, even low health. Faker running from Smeb. Smeb doesn't know which direction to go. Keeps turning around. They eventually get the kill onto Wolf, though. And Prey turning around. Oh, he gets a kill onto, well, Bang actually gets a kill into Prey. Faker, oh, the double kill. Getting those resets. And that is what SKT needed. They actually managed to get the ace.
Believe they got that ace.
That was incredible.
They played the periphery so well, and they scrambled on the outside to force the skirmishes from the KOOTigers. Faker even flashed on top of Prey and tried to EM, but Prey actually hit his shield right there. And that was such an amazing turnaround from SK Telecom.
And they're even going to get Baron off of Marin still being nearly full health going into this one. What a fight. That was one of the best team fights I've ever seen.
You shouldn't have been able to do that. Let's watch this again. So they get onto Bengi, and Bengi gets chunked out. Remember, Marin's already dead. And yes, they use the ult. Kuro gets punted out by Wolf and destroyed immediately. Meanwhile, Faker gets the exhaust off, taking some damage. Remember, he's got Frozen Heart, though. Faker actually uses this Chilling Smite onto Wisdom, I think, right there. And then watch this. Coming back in, there's the spell shield from the Flash E, but the damage from the Trinity Force, 2 Sheens smacking him around. And just the constant poke gets the reset from the Sheen-empowered Q.
And why not take another Dragon after that as well? SK Telecom grabbing all the objectives at the moment. I thought Faker was dead to Prey for sure, 100%. He managed to finish him off. Well, this is SK Telecom. This is just what they do. They just find these opportunities and they capitalize on them like no other team can.
The patience was so good, though. And honestly, the biggest mistake in that fight was probably Kuro getting too close to Wolf and getting ejected via the headbutt and then destroyed by double Sheen.
It was a great play.
If you look at how poised SKT was in that situation, because what they were doing was they were playing around Sheen. right there. They had the two Sheens, so they kept poking, and they would engage every few seconds for these little bits of burst damage, then pull back out, using the mobility that comes from the Aurelia and the Valk on Corki, and then just continuously poking around that. So every 2 seconds, getting a little bit more damage down, and that way they traded so efficiently over the course of that fight. Really spectacular to watch.
They immediately grabbed 2 turrets out of it too, as well. So out of that fight, they got Baron, they got Dragon, they got kills, 2 tier 2 turrets. Wow.
And Blade of the Ruined King now done on the Faker as well.
Yeah.
It's just about split pushing right at the moment. They're going to try and 1-3-1 or 4-1 this and continue to gobble up towers and get an even bigger gold lead than they already have. And now they're in a comfortable position where they can take home this game even with the composition. Coming 5,000, 7,000 gold up, they should be A-okay.
You know, and the KOOTigers were playing well before that happened, and I mean,
they were.
It was such a close team fight too. Like you said, if Kuro hadn't gotten knocked out, that probably would have gone differently. Yeah. So it's hard to, it's hard to take away from the KOOTigers too much with this one.
They did invest a lot in the pick that they made on Damar in terms of ultimates, but it was looking very promising besides that. And, the KOOTigers, I think the mistake there is continuing to try and fight during the power spike that SKT has. I think this is one of the reasons why you want to play more conservatively. If you're the Tigers, just delaying the Dragon.
Smeb in a little bit of trouble. Faker and Bengi catching him. Here comes Wolf, though, to knock him out. Onslaught of Shadows doesn't do enough. There is the Empire's Divide, and Faker still gets a kill onto Smeb. Bengi making it out of the fight here. Faker finally goes down to Kuro, but look at this. SK Telecom, Marin, and Bang just decide to take an inhibitor while this fight happens in top lane, and they're going to be able to make it out, it looks like. Wisdom coming in. He still has his ult, but yeah, the team too far behind. Bengi engaging as well, and SKT, yeah, they may have given KOOTigers a couple kills, but they got an inhibitor in response for it.
Yeah, just good poise. Keep on pushing. Don't worry about your teammates dying too much. Just let them absorb the time of the teammates. I mean, it was a really nice Zero wall right there from Kuro. But, yeah, as I was saying in that last fight, at a certain point, if you know you're going to outscale like the Tigers will, you just be happy you got that kill on Marin. Maybe you start pushing up the mid lane at that point. You've already denied the Dragon. But fighting in the other team's power spike, even though it was a 4v5, because they had already lost a lot of their big ultimates, problematic, I think. And, but also, you don't expect SKT to be able to do that. That was stunning.
Man, SKT is going to take objectives extremely fast now that they've got double Trinity Force, double Blade of the Ruined King. It's a bit crazy. So, back to the split pushing. Looks like Faker and Marin may be trying to make a pick here. There's Equalizer slowing down Smeb a bit. Smeb has his ultimate. Faker coming in. Can he chase him through it? Equilibrium strike. Does that damage. Gets the stun. Smeb getting lower. Here comes Bengi and Wolf. Man, 5-on-1. Smeb not standing a chance. Well, I think things have sufficiently come off the rails for the KOOTigers at this point.
I'm just so in awe of, if we take a look at that Varus comp from last week and we take a look at this one, SKT's ability to play around their team compositions is just so spot on these days.
There we go, Koo trying again. Kuro gets blown up, goes down, Bang with the kill, and without that damage, SKT able to go in. Heals coming in from Gorilla, pushing back SK Telecom just for the moment. Huge pulverize from Wolf, though, and that is going to be the end of the team fight. A clean ace from SK Telecom, and with the death timers being as they are, I wonder if they can just end it right here.
Yeah, they definitely can. Just they can push through. They have a minion wave incoming.
Yep.
They have two Sheens.
Smeb's back. Just booting him right out
deal
again.
The damage. Yeah, they just want to keep him out of the fight right now. Slowly take down these inhibitor turrets. And
well, WTF, two Sheens. And SK Telecom uses those to take down the KOOTigers. They're just kind of messing around right now. There we go. The Nexus finished off, and SKT with a pretty stunning team fight into a pretty impressive. Because I agree. I don't think they're going to ban the Aurelia. I wonder if they're going to ban the
smarter.
Well, I wonder if they're going to ban the Varus again. I wouldn't think so this time.
All right, Victor will be banned once again by SK Telecom, though. Are they going to ban Callista away from Prey? LeBlanc one more time, of course. And will it be Varus for the final ban from the KOOTigers?
I would be surprised. I feel like they can ban something a little bit more useful.
Well, it is a threat, and they're going to ban Rumble, actually, one of those common bans as we discussed, against Marin. known for a long, long time for his abilities on that champion. And now, there's Kalista.
Okay.
So this does free up the Maokai, but I doubt that's going to be the first pick right here. Gragas still available. Sivir going to be prioritized by the Tigers.
Wow, okay. That does give a lot of good options over to SK Telecom. Now, Gorilla's been playing a lot of Soraka in solo queue, and he's always said that he wants to, make that champion work. So a little bit of teasing coming in from SKT there. I don't think we're going to get it picked today, though.
Yeah, and the Naren.
Well, I have to retract that statement. The only way we'll see Soraka today is if Faker decides to play at mid, because why not, Why not?
Why not have one of the greatest playmakers in League of Legends history play an absolutely non-playmaking champion? That's really exciting.
Hey, wouldn't be the first time.
It'll be a switch over to that Maokai instead alongside the Gragas. So going for that big-time tankiness in the draft from SK Telecom. And
do you think...
What will Hojin do in response here? A surprisingly few number of jungle bans today. In fact, 0 so far in this best of 3.
Well, do you feel like we might see SKT just default back to that safer, tanky style that we've seen them play so much? The Urgot, well, maybe the Vayne instead. Not exactly tanky.
No, but they have the Gragas, and again, time and time again this season in Korea, we see the synergy between Gragas and Vayne, able to get that isolation. They also have great peel with the Janna, and they have another single target CC with the Maokai to combo into a lot of Vayne auto attacks. So this is a pretty good composition from SK Telecom. I like Vayne and Gragas quite a bit together.
Yeah, they've got Janna to help as well in terms of keeping Vayne alive, boosting her a little bit, and then separating. Now the players on the other team.
The problem is playing Vayne into Nautilus can be a bit tricky because there's a guaranteed CC that is going to be coming your way in that depth charge, and we could see potentially Lissandra here. Lissandra not a champion we've seen in a long time, but if you want lockdown onto Vayne, and Smeb is really good at playing Lissandra too.
Yeah, I actually really like the idea of this because it bypasses a lot of the things that would normally knock you away with that E, and if you can get in and ult Vayne or ult yourself and catch Vayne, that's a big problem for SKT.
Yep, but it's like they're not going to do it. Could be top Rek'Sai, though.
Could be.
Top Rek'Sai, one of the most dominant split pushers, and that's what it's going to be.
Indeed. All right, so the final pick over to SK Telecom. We'll see what Faker plays. Could be anything. We really don't know.
What does he want to play into this Azir? I kind of hope we get to see his Zed again. He still likes to play Zed a lot in solo queue.
Yeah.
It is his top undefeated champion right now, 9-0 all time on that. And it would give them some answers to a split pushing Rek'Sai as well. So there is a lot of use for it. And again, he's another champion that does really well with isolated targets from the Gragas. So we could see something crazy like, could see the AP Kog'Maw too. Something that Faker's very accustomed to playing, but Faker has not played since the introduction of Luton's Echo.
Well, there it is. So yeah, Faker's going to be playing that Kog'Maw in mid lane. And this could work well. I mean, all that poke damage is going to set up some pretty easy kills for Bang once people get separated.
Yeah, and SK Telecom played a lot of AP Kog in the summer season of last year. However, AP Kog'Maw, like I said, has not been played in Korea since the introduction of Luton's Echo. Obviously, we see it a lot in the LCS regions. After Power of Evil started playing that and realized the power spike that Luton's Echo has. And so it's a big, big poke composition here, being able to poke again and then isolate a target for this Vayne. So there's going to be a lot of preparation before Bang goes in on the Vayne, but Kog'Maw's very vulnerable in the early stages of the game, and I would be scared because a good flank with Rek'Sai or with Eve could be pretty devastating to the back line of SKT.
I think Faker's going to have to play this pick a little bit more cautiously than he's normally used to playing champions as well, too, if he wants to survive to a strong mid game.
Well, the nice thing is you can lose lane pretty hard, as Incarnation showed us in that TSM Cloud9 matchup, and guess what? Kog'Maw is still great. That's one of the things that I really like about mid Kog'Maw is that if he gets level 11, he gets that Luton's, doesn't matter how far behind he is, he's still going to do a lot of damage and have a lot of presence on the game.
Yeah, well, KOOTigers trying to tie it up. SKT trying to get a 2-0. Let's see who takes it. welcome to Summoner's Rift. Fans cheering on their teams. And we'll see what SK Telecom can do with this mid-Kog'Maw. There it is. Faker playing the Aurelia game #1. Now the Kog'Maw. Played Varus last time. Like I said, you just really have no idea what Faker's going to play lately.
Faker is slowly turning into Power of Evil. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, as long as he keeps his mechanics up. Bang is using the SK Telecom Vayne skin.
Well, why wouldn't you? Rip Piglet.
He went to the afterlife of North America.
Yeah, it's a pro gaming afterlife, you know.
The Korean Pros retirement home.
Yep.
I thought that was China. Could be arguments both ways.
It's pretty much just the rest of the world at this point.
It's true. They release him into the wider world. Oh, Faker.
Oh.
Pretty close. Can't deny the recall, though. Either way, it's a bit annoying for Smeb to get poked out so heavily early on.
Now, we saw Kuve doing so well on this top lane Rek'Sai this season. The scary thing is about Rek'Sai is that she's such a lane bully with all of her sustain, and once you get that Black Cleaver, there are a lot of problems. With nobody, pretty much nobody can 1v1 a split pushing Rek'Sai, and you have 2 teleports. So while Rek'Sai is not the most impactful champion in the late game, the map control Rek'Sai gives you is crazy with items. So it should be fun. Rek'Sai should be able to take on this Vayne, I would think.
Well, we will see.
That is another nice thing about the Vayne, though, is she is one of the best duelists in the game. It has the range advantage. So going into that the 1v1 in the split push, maybe Vayne can hold her own in that situation.
Bang tumbling in for more damage against Gorilla. Wolf and Bang just trying to put a little bit of their own damage in on this lane.
The other great thing about split pushing Rek'Sai is the tremor sense, because you don't need wards like a lot of traditional split pushing top laners. You can play more risky. In fact, your teammates could go ward the opposite side of the map in that case.
It's true.
And so there's a lot of really good edges that this Rek'Sai gives you. And
oh, Hojin coming in, and they grab Bengi. Bengi in a lot of trouble here. Gets low. There's the flashes. Hojin flashes as well. Ignite isn't enough. Actually, Bengi makes it out. Now Hojin getting low. There's the heal. Kuro trying to save him. First blood goes to Bang. Bang still taking a lot of damage, though. Bengi coming back in. Weird fight. Bang tumbling, getting the damage onto Gorilla, and Bengi with a kill now. SKT, how do they turn these fights around? Faker comes in. Bang picks up another one, and now he's got the 1v1 onto Kuro. Kuro has to flash over the wall, and Bang with the double buffs in good spot. Marin just gets the solo in bot lane, because why not? You know, everybody else is getting kills. Marin didn't want to be left out.
I don't even know how Marin was able to get a solo kill in that bottom lane at level 3 and level 4. Marin not having much mana and having a lot of HP right there to finish that one off. I wasn't paying attention. And Faker living with just a sliver of HP, flashing out at the last possible second.
That was an unmitigated disaster for the KOOTigers.
Yeah, well, they tried to get that invade down. It all started with Hojin flashing and thinking he could finish off the kill onto Bengi. Unfortunately, instead of just taking the control over the top side and being happy with that, taking the red buff away, got a little bit greedy, and then they kept fighting even after SKT was trying to turn it around. And Smeb may have been trying to prevent Marin from TPing is probably what happened, because his TP was down while Marin's was up.
Oh, Bengi coming in. Gonna mess with Kuro a little bit. Hojin's right there, though, but with Wolf, it is a 2v3. And here comes Gorilla and Prey. Bengi and Wolf still chasing. Look at this. Marin coming down as well. Nice double knockup from Wolf coming in. They're going to jump onto Kuro. They're going to get a kill onto Kuro. Marin picking one up. And this one is already getting a little bit out of control.
And there's the TP advantage coming into play. So Marin just has that up, goes into the top side, able to help out with the crowd control on the Twisted Advance. And now,
wow,
Faker has 3 assists, 5 kills on the board by 5 minutes for SK Telecom. And with a composition that is going to scale so well. This is terrifying for the KOOTigers.
That's a 2,000 gold lead at 5 minutes into the game.
With this kind of scaling from Vayne and Maokai and Kog'Maw, there's almost nothing you could do here. Like, this should not have been happening this early in the game. SK Telecom should be behind in gold. They should be struggling just to keep themselves in it. And for them to already have such a lead is pretty incredible. You can see Bang completing his Cutlass here before Prey can even get an Avarice Blade. He just has a longsword. I mean, this is real bad.
Yeah, KOO just can't fight at this point. Their only hope is to either get a massive pick, which you wouldn't think SKT would allow, or just farm, and hope for a really good team fight, I suppose.
Well, and that's been the KOOTigers' consistent problem. It's not their late game play. They do a great job of side wave manipulation. They're very patient in terms of objectives. We see them having great late game shot calling, but they find themselves in a hole in the early game. They get outplayed in skirmishes early over and over and over again. Even in situations where that really shouldn't be happening, they have more power at that point in the game, and they get themselves into a big hole, and they just can't get out of it.
Well, if the KOOTigers can come back, this would be one of the most incredible comebacks we've seen in Korea in a long time.
Yeah, I would be quite amazed.
Marin jumping onto Smeb again, and I feel like top Rek'Sai 2 is one of those champions that when he starts to fall behind, it gets pretty worrisome.
I just want to know what the hell happened in that bottom lane.
I don't know, man. Maybe he just didn't know his limits, I guess, which seems weird to say about Smeb, but what else do you explain it with? Knock up onto Marin, Smeb taking a lot of damage still. Yeah, Marin looking pretty comfortable in that top lane.
Well, he's got such a lead now.
Oh, yeah. He's got that Catalyst and 2 Doran's rings already.
Yep, so he's just going to, even with that Rek'Sai sustain, Smeb not going to be dealing too much damage considering he has to go for a cowl first as a result of Marin's rather large lead right now. Marin, the question is he going to go Glory or Rod of Ages?
Bang just 2v1ing right now for a while. Why not? Both mid and ADC positions for SKT with a nice little CS lead. Smeb has managed to keep up with Marin, which is
great
nice.
deep boards too. Look at Faker's positioning right now. While they continue to apply pressure, Faker pushes in the mid lane, then just drops down to see if they need him because it's going to be a 4v3, and Bengi just taking all the advantages right now. Get some damage down.
Hojin took like a full damage barrel too on his way out.
Nice and fermented.
Yep, that's right. The longer it sits, the better the vintage.
Look at the pink ward coverage there too. There's just nothing they can do. SK Telecom's ward coverage and invades have been so good tonight. They're playing around vision incredibly well, and they've had a lot of early pink wards on the map, in both games so far.
Oh, Hojin against the wall. They've spotted him somehow. And Bang nearly getting a kill himself there, 1v3. Man, well, that gank didn't work out, did it?
There's level 6 as well, so Bang does have a level advantage onto Prey alongside everything else. And both TPs up for top laners right now. Gorilla and Prey have to be very careful, especially because Hojin was just knocked out of lane, and they know there's a ward in that brush because Bang used it to get his condemn.
Right. There's a ward a little bit closer for the KOOTigers to use in case they need Smeb to come down. But yeah, SKT with a very easy position to play from. It's really their game to lose at this point.
Yep. Marin getting pushed back a little bit as Rek'Sai's natural tendencies come online a little bit there to deal some more damage, but
Bengi may be in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, has to body slam over the wall to get out.
Yeah, just trying to take the blue buff, seeing if he could actually make a play right there, and can't, so he'll just back off instead. Faker very comfortably just stacking up his tier in this mid lane.
Oh yeah, he gets to deny a little bit of CS and experience to Kuro too.
Yeah,
go take his own blue buff.
He's ahead in CS on a Kog'Maw lane.
Yeah.
And Azir tend to be one of those more poke-oriented champions as well, but after that disastrous early game fight, Kuro not really willing to move too far forward, especially since they just don't have vision on the bottom side.
Well, Bang is so strong right now, too, that we just saw Wolf just waltz up into the river. Oh, Hojin a little bit of trouble, knocked against the wall with that explosive cask. Bengi will back out anyway, though. Yeah, Bang could just hold the lane 1v2 while Wolf went up and killed that ward in the river.
And they're just maximizing, just if we look at the way they're playing, Marin is perfectly safe. He's probably not going to die to Smeb and Hojin, considering that there's just not enough damage with this Rek'Sai yet in terms of itemization.
Yep.
Becky going to take that one. So they just completely ward up the bottom side of the jungle, don't give up the dragon, and they're playing around their lanes, which are the most exploitable at this point in time. You've got to keep Faker safe on that Kog'Maw. He's been able to push up repeatedly to get that CS advantage. And you're taking away their buffs, and Bengi's just taking their entire jungle right now. Here we go.
Oh, Prey taking a lot of damage. Ultimate used, though. There's a knock-up. Exhaust onto Prey as well. Bengi coming in. They're trying to make a plan to Gorilla now. Gorilla flashes out. And Prey and Gorilla heavily chunked, but it looks like they'll escape with their lives intact, though. Yeah,
Bengi didn't have the explosive cask right there. He used it on Hojin in the jungle earlier, so there was no real follow-up to that gank. Just a little bit of damage, and Hojin there now wants to do something. Bengi's going to have that cask up pretty soon, however, so they can't hope for an extended fight. Smeb did have teleport right there. Meanwhile, Marin did not. Had to teleport back into topside, but Smeb not going to use it.
Meanwhile, Smeb still doing okay in the top lane, all things considered, keeping up on CS.
Well, he's winning in terms of lane pressure now, and Marin has a couple more minutes to wait for his TP. He went back, picked up some components for a Frozen Heart to deal with the Rek'Sai, but the Rek'Sai is really hard in top lane in a one-on-one environment. And now a little bit of a deep ward right there. It's like Smeb just faked his back and now is going to push up one more time. Just keep Marin around as long as possible.
No, not a bad idea. Hojin trying to do a little bit of counter jungling himself, going after the Raptors while Bengi takes the red buff here. And actually, Hojin coming in, there's the smite, and body slam onto Hojin. He's going to try to make something happen here. Wow, Hojin actually taking a lot of damage. There's explosive cask. He may be in big trouble. No flash available. Gorilla comes up. Can he save him? No. Bengi with the kill there. Gorilla slowing, and he's going to try to make it himself too. There's a knock-up onto Kuro as Wolf comes in to the upper jungle. Marin kind of coming down to see if they can maybe do something here, but they don't even need to. They've already gotten the kill onto Hojin. They've already pushed Smeb back.
I mean, Bengi's 2 levels up. There's almost nothing you can do, and what Hojin is doing is he has to take risks to help get his team back in the game. If he doesn't do anything right here, if he doesn't deny Bengi in some way, he's already been starved out of his bottom side of the jungle almost completely. He's had his own blue buff contested. He has to go somewhere. But Bengi is really outsmarting him right now and choosing kind of where Hojin goes and is showing up at the right time for the kill.
Yeah.
But he's just, I mean, look at the farm difference. He's 20 CS up out of the jungle. It's a disaster, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Gold lead has been slowly increasing, too, for SK Telecom. And as Bang takes down this top turret, it'll get a nice little boost. Prey doing a little bit of damage to Faker. Kuro coming in as well. Faker forced to flash over the wall. But here comes Kuro. Flash Emperor's Divide onto Faker. Nice play. Faker trying to do enough damage to Kuro. Can't quite finish him off, though, so there's a pick that the KOOTigers needed. Oh, it was close. Cathian surprise.
Yeah, Kuro had to use his heal right there in order to get out of that. Faker caught out alone in the middle of the map, and with that kind of mobility from Azir and the Sivir ult, that's probably not something you're going to go get away from. Well, good play from Kuro, though. It was a good Emperor's Divide.
Bang gets the top turret anyway, so it didn't end up too badly for SK Telecom. Ultimately, that objective more important than Faker's life.
And let's talk about this. Faker has 3 assists. He's ahead in CS, actually.
Yeah.
And his first death is at 15 minutes or 14 minutes on Kog'Maw. This is, by mid-Kog'Maw standards, not a bad game, actually.
No,
you should not be this far ahead. In fact, he probably should have died already. Most teams just focus that Kog'Maw and abuse him early on. But instead, he actually has an even lane, which means that this Ludens that's coming up soon is going to be really scary.
There comes Vayne with an already completed Blade of the Ruined King and Berserker's Greaves.
Oh, it's nice to have it 14 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I'm always happy when I can get that, which is never for me, but Bang has it this game.
What a lucky guy he is.
Pretty impressive. Well, Marin just defending his top turret. And Bang, we'll see how quickly he can push down the bot lane. Faker already putting pressure on the mid.
Indeed. Well, it's looking
you have to imagine, too, that SK Telecom is just going to have the easiest time taking all these dragons, too, when they come up.
Oh, yeah. There's almost no way you can react to the poke damage from Faker's Kog'Maw. And then, so the Tigers they just have to get a flank. They have to flank. Home guard flank with the Rek'Sai, get a flank with the Evelynn. A lot of their power has already been drained, and even this potent split pusher in the Rek'Sai cannot split push against Vayne. Yeah. He's got a Spirit Visage. He's not equipped to deal with an AD carry. Neither is
Bang!
Prey, perhaps.
Popping that ult. Prey popping is to try to escape here. Gorilla comes in a little bit late. Bang gets ulted. Gorilla looking to get a bit bloodthirsty, but here comes Wolf with the shield. Now Gorilla in a lot of trouble. Tumbling under turret. There's a double for Bang. And the heal. Oh, Bang, come on.
That was actually a misplay. He didn't expect the Monsoon to come back in, so he sort of walked back under the turret. Now Wolf is going on a suicide mission to prevent Hojin and Kuro from getting that kill.
Oh, gets poked once, and that's a kill for Kuro. So Bang doing his best OQ impression while Faker takes down the mid lane turret. Things could be worse, but things getting a little bit goofy there for the moment.
Yeah, and that tower going down is pretty important.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
Well, that just happened then. And Hojin trying to put a little bit of hurt onto Bengi after seeing his mid laner just get absolutely evaporated. Bengi getting very low. Smeb coming in as well. Looks like they will be able to get the kill on Bengi eventually, I'd imagine. Faker raining damage down from the top, though. And Marin coming in. Twist advance onto Prey. They're going to keep going with this, but it's a 4v1 right now. Can Faker zone well enough? Wow, Marin already getting so tanky here. Prey doing a decent amount of damage, though. Faker needs to be careful. Knock up onto Marin. I think SKT is starting to style a little bit here onto the KOOTigers. This is a sustained 2v4, and Marin and Faker get the kill anyway.
And Faker doesn't have Echo yet. Doesn't have Echo. Impressive.
Wow.
Well, also, super fed everyone.
Yep, super fed everyone. Yeah, Righteous Glory done for Marin now. Zeal added on for Bang after that tussle in the bot lane tier. Still stacking for Faker. Can probably go back and finish that Ludens when he next returns to Fountain. Bang gonna take down the bot lane turret. There's like an endless list of good things to say that are happening to SK Telecom right now.
Well, they gave away a large minion wave and Bang's gonna die.
Well, sometimes it's worth it if you can go 1v1. The Prey. Oh, not quite. It was close.
The fact that he nearly killed somebody in a 1v3, though, is not a good sign.
I don't think we're really seeing the most serious play suddenly out of SK Telecom.
They got the turret, though, so definitely worth the trade, because Bang wasn't worth that bounty gold anymore either, so that's definitely a valuable trade for them to make, and SK Telecom continuing to pull further into the lead. And when will Faker go back and actually buy items? I guess the time is now.
Yeah. Oh, no. Got to kill that ward first. Money. Oh, they got to stay in lane for a while now.
He really needs that Echo.
Yeah, well, Baron's coming up in a minute 30, so if you can push this lane up, there we go. Now just recall, pick it up. You know, you got to be ready for that 20-minute Baron, right?
That's right. Well, Bang's going to be going for the 0 wave clear build with the Phantom Dancer.
That's okay. You've got Maokai and Kog'Maw to take care of the wave clear.
Going for
Gragas, too.
The sick 1v1s.
Yep. Why not, you know?
Okay, so Echo and Archangels completed at the same time, and he's getting pretty close, I would imagine. Probably another 3 or 4 minutes until that Seraph's Embrace is done. Be a little bit sooner.
Why not?
And now Marin having
also 1v3 is going to casually stroll away.
Is there another way to stroll besides casually? I think it's implied.
Aggressively?
No.
I don't think so. Lackadaisically?
Lackadaisically.
Yes, you can stroll in like a relaxed way, but you can also stroll in like kind of like a lazy, apathetic way. So there you go.
There you go. Just have some ults there.
Yeah. Have some ults.
And again.
Whoa, that's a lot of damage. Kuro. Uh-oh, he's in the gauntlet now. Time to play some Dance Dance Revolution. Meanwhile, Gorilla just dies in bot lane. Eventually. Trust me, he will. He will. Don't worry. There we go. Okay, I was right. Now Bengi may. Oh, nice ult from Wolf, actually. Bang entering the fray. Kuro pushes him back with the Emperor's Divide. That's a lot of damage onto Bang, actually. SKT still playing a little bit silly. And Bang probably going to... Whoa, not quite yet. There we go. Kuro picks up the kill there. Meanwhile, more action as Faker goes after Prey mid laner versus ADC, but now everyone on KOO turning around. SK Telecom, we don't want to be here all night. Come on. Come on, guys.
Meanwhile, Martin's taking a tier 2 turret in the top side. Reminder that that was a 4v5 the entire time.
I guess so, yeah. This is like we've jumped off of the tournament realm. We're now spectating a solo queue game going on right now.
Just happens to contain all the KOOTigers and SKT members.
Yeah, well, they're just using the names. It's not really these guys, you know. Well. Okay, then.
That was a bold play from Bang, tumbling into an Azir that he knew had ultimate up and an AD carry. So basically, you just pounded his face into a wall and then got auto-attacked a bunch of times by Prey.
Showing us the line between brave and stupid is indeed extremely thin. Yep, confirmed.
Thank you, Bang.
Yeah. This is just his homage to OQ game.
He's like, I didn't want MVP this game anyway after that great team fight early on.
And
the big lead that I got.
Yep.
Well, they can do Baron really fast with Kog'Maw and with Vayne right now. So
yes, they can.
That's one of the faster compositions you could do it with, of course, with the percent damage coming in from Kog'Maw, regardless of whether he has a Blade of the Ruin King or not.
Well, Luden's finished for Kuro now. I think the most base in League of Legends is when you destroy Rek'Sai Tunnel. If you have like the base turned up, just like shakes the whole room, you know? Rumble doesn't even rumble as much as that does.
No, Rumble hardly rumbles at all.
No.
It's mostly just squeaky and annoying.
Yeah.
There you go. One ult. Kuro at 2/3 HP now. And we talked about the damage to champions for the last time Faker played a poking mid laner with that Varus, and this Faker's skill shot accuracy, you don't want him on those poking champions. We remember what he used to do on Nidalee, and it was spectacular, but ugly for enemy teams because of his spear accuracy. And now we're starting to see that come around again.
I want the Kog'Maw skin that has like an orbital laser strike for an ultimate. You know, you just shoot up like a little laser beam to help target. Use the orbital laser thing from Earth mode that one week.
Here we go.
Yeah, Martin's coming in from behind onto Gorilla and Prey. There's the ult onto Bang, and he's locked up for just a moment here. Prey popping the ultimate, backing off. Martin's going to chase with that twisted advance anyway. Kuro coming from the river right now. Faker entering the fray now with a lot of damage. Bang extremely low, and there's a kill actually for Bengi on the fray before anything else happens. Hojin on the run now as well. Martin and Bengi chasing down Gorilla. There's a kill. Kuro manages to take out Wolf, but a double kill for Bengi as SK Telecom looking to finish this one up. Martin comes in for the kill onto Hojin, and SKT having to back off, having to play it safe. Smeb and Kuro on the run right now. Bang and Faker coming in for this one a second time. There goes Smeb. Faker with the kill there. Kuro the only one left, and he is not in any position to fight. Backing off, trying to run for his life, and that's just going to be more objectives for SKT.
This is just SKT being so far ahead right now, but Kuro actually team fought that really well. He divided the team up so Faker and Bang couldn't actually clean that one up.
Right.
If Bengi and Marin didn't have such an insane advantage already and weren't so fed, that fight probably would have gone over to the KOOTigers. But again, the Tigers showing that they can hang with it in terms of team fighting and strategy in the late game, but they get too far behind early. Goodbye, Gorilla.
Goodbye, Gorilla. Well, that was not a long life for Gorilla after he came back.
And look at this, too. Here's the teleport on the way in and gets onto Gorilla. Gorilla gets caught out a little bit, but watch the Sand Soldiers from Kuro right here because he does a lot of damage with the tools that he's given, and he's going to be able to zone them out. Great Monsoon from Wolf to save Bang. Gets a little more HP. Then he's going to get the exhaust onto Hojin. But Wolf and, Mar and Bengi going in onto Hojin. There's the flash twisted advance to finish the kill. And Kuro just constantly dealing poke damage from the outside. He's doing all he can with that Luden's Echo onto the Azir. Getting some more damage down yet again. It's just everyone too tanky on that front line.
Yeah. That really is just it. SK Telecom is just so ridiculously far ahead. Kuro coming in, pushes back Faker with that Emperor's
play.
Divide. There's the alt Wolf, pushes people back though from Gorilla. Hojin comes in, that's a kill actually on the Gorilla immediately. Faker very low as well, dies. Kill comes in for Prey, Bengi on the run there. KOOTigers turning this one around off that double kill from Kuro. Marin comes back in, wants to get the kill on Azir. He's able to do it with his ultimate.
And
so it's still 2 for 3. Here comes Bang.
You can take out this turret and keep on rolling if they
Yes,
want
you
to.
can.
Just keep pushing up. Looks like they are going to be able to get away. Final hour popped from Vayne, but no additional kills. And Kuro's Azir is really holding the KOOTigers in this game in spite of a lack of Baron. That was a great engage against a Baroned up team. SK Telecom was split up. But
wow,
that's about all they could do with that kind of deficit.
And that's the thing. I mean, this would have been a very close competitive game if that huge lead hadn't been taken early on by SK Telecom. It's kind of another one. It's like another game where one fight kind of decided the game almost.
Yeah.
Now
that fight early on, so just if you give SKT any kind of lead like that, they're able just to push it through, especially with a composition like the one that they have.
Yep.
And there's the Relonomicon for Kog'Maw as well now.
Why not?
A
couple of members.
I mean, against Aegis, I'm surprised he doesn't have the Void Staff yet. Aegis Spirit Visage, but it's okay. I mean, obviously he's very far ahead in general.
I suppose you get a little bit more CDR from the Relonomicon too as well.
Now the Banna also very important to Kog'Maw. But 2 blue buffs on SKT, 1 for Faker, 1 for Bang right now, so mana's not going to be an issue. Marin can face check whatever the hell he wants right now.
Wolf's like, I can't face check this bush, man. Can you do it? Marin's like, sure, man. I'm tanky Maokai. I can face check any bush. Doesn't matter how many Garens are in there.
Well, he can. 3 items already before this dragon spawn right here and this next fight. The setup is already good for SKT, starting to play a little bit more methodically.
Yep.
This will be dragon number 3. Should be an easy take.
Well, they're still on track for a pretty quick closeout here as well, too. We're still sub 30 minutes, and it's 5-1 in turrets. 3-0 in dragons, 1-0 in barons. 29 kills out of a 27-minute game. I'm happy. I feel pretty good about this one, Monty.
Yeah, I think if you like SK Telecom, you're going to feel pretty good about what happened. Wasn't the most exciting game a lot of the time, just due to the shenanigans that happened very early on.
Sometimes
last game was
watch
definitely a lot more exciting, but SK Telecom's closure, in terms of their individual decision making, hasn't been the best. But when we talk about which side of the map they were playing and the timings they were hitting, in terms of their invades and how well Bengi played, particularly around Hojin, it was quite impressive.
Game number 2, just because of that early fight, ended up being a little bit more of a victory lap than an actual game for SK Telecom.
So here we go. They got the pressure in the top side too. And they just keep on rolling this Vayne.
They can close it up pretty casually too, because like you mentioned earlier too, SK Telecom is going to scale so well into the late game that there really is no rush.
It's only going to get worse for the Tigers. The only really great scaling champion they have is this Sivir. And beyond that, they don't have the engage that, besides a flank, really.
Right.
Rek'Sai is not a reliable form of primary engage. Does have the Sivir ult, which helps, however. And Evelynn, look at where the pink ward is in that lane. Look at what that SK Telecom have already done. They have a pink ward right behind them to make sure that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, SKT coming in. Bang actually taking a lot of damage. Has to be a bit careful about going that too far forward. That far forward, because it is too far forward.
It is. Going to just auto the Gromp, though, and get some health back. And now
Auto the Gromp.
Head right back into lane. Oh, Baron. Of course, Baron back up in a minute 30 now. SKT may need that objective to close this one. They don't have the best way to auto the turret just because the Kog'Maw in this composition, even with BioArcane Barrage, not going to be doing the most damage. So what is Faker going to get? Probably Void Staff, I would assume.
Yep,
and there it is. Just one. Buying in one go. Okay.
Oh, and he gets the Sork Shoes too. Yeah, Faker doesn't he doesn't buy parts of items, man. He just buys the whole thing.
Certainly no rush. He's already in such a lead that he can hold on to a bank of gold and still feel very comfortable about winning these team fights. And now
Why not? Just taking out some wolves. Getting a little bit more CS.
Push out the mid lane. Bait the Baron. Should be pretty textbook finish for SKT.
I would say that Baron up in about 35 seconds now. Man, if you're the KOOTigers, it just has to feel horrible because you know right now at this point in the game, it's probably not going to work out. You know, you would have to get like a miracle fight to win this one.
Yeah, you'd have to get some insane flank. They're doing their best to turtle right now. They have that Azir, which can prolong the lengths of games with those Sun turrets, but a turret not really too impactful right now, considering that SK Telecom just wants to take this Baron in 10 seconds, and they're going to stop pushing your base after they move the minion waves right up on your doorstep. And here we go.
Yep, Baron immediately started by Bang. Here comes Wolf as well to tank a little bit with the shield, but SKT should have no problem at all taking this. Wow, look at how fast it's going down too. It's not bad. And so there we go. Okay, easy Baron. Marin teleporting, or not teleporting, recalling back to pick up something. I think he picked up Thornmail, but either way he's got the teleport to get back there if they need him.
Grab that Thornmail before rushing to push the bottom lane so they can get as much pressure as possible. And here we go, right into the siege.
Yep, and this time with those Baron minions, it should go a little bit better. You're gonna have to wait for probably a cannon minion wave before they can really put it on.
Look at Prey's HP bar.
Damage. Wow. Poor Prey.
And Marin just slowly moving up. Gorilla taking a big caustic spittle shot right there. As the ults continue to rain down on the heads of the KOOTigers.
Pretty much. Here comes the teleport now. Marin coming in, and that's enough to scare the Tigers back. SKT gets the turret going in onto the inhibitor. Now it's going to go down extremely quickly, and I don't think anyone can stop the SK Telecom bulldozer at this point.
No, now the question is, where are they going to transition to next? Looks like they may just go bottom side.
Makes sense.
Walk all the way across the base, not going to tank the top lane turret.
No, why not?
Up bigger.
Oh, they're going in. Yeah, Wolf flashing away as well, too. Marin coming in. Faker actually taking a lot of damage. Smeb on top of them. That's a kill for Kuro. Bang, though, starting to go a little bit crazy here. There goes Smeb. GA pop. There goes Kuro. Double kill for Bang, actually. There was no GA, and that's going to be about it. Gorilla backing away. Marin just tanking a turret hit for the fun of it. They lost Faker, but they had to commit everything to it, and that let Bang just had a field day.
Yeah, but Kuro has been playing around this Kog'Maw so well that it's a real shame that we didn't get to see a more even early game to see what exactly Kuro was going to be able to pull off to shut down Faker, because his Azir has been quite good in team fights, actually.
Yeah. Well, Gorilla, a support against the world right now. And there's only so much you can do. And it's not enough to take the game. SK Telecom will win it 2-0 in dominating fashion. GG.
Yeah, that's about all you can say. That's Ryzen.
Right.
Now with the cast time, that's a lot harder to do. But what you can still do with it is create massive zones next to turrets where people can't defend. And you can protect Vayne with it. You can peel with it now. So it's still a super strong stun, AoE stun. And if you consider Equalizer, Emperor's Divide, and Event Horizon, Pilot has so much room to move in a team fight.
He really does. And I mean, even the Veigar ult against Ryze, Nidalee, and LeBlanc is going to be doing decent damage, even coming from a support player too. So it's an interesting pick. I think it could really work.
Yeah, also, the Veigar good against the AP solo laners, right? That's one of the other advantages that you can have is that your ult will do more damage to them.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, just having that. You have a couple good targets, as well as Evelyn, who will also be building heavy AP this game.
Well, it makes it a bit risky for LeBlanc to come in
Nidalee,
if she
rather,
can lose half her health. We will see if it works out for JinAir as we go into game number 1. It's time, guys. Who takes it? Let's find out. All right, well, welcome to Summoner's Rift. Samsung versus JinAir. And I'm really glad we're seeing the support Veigar again. It is very composition dependent. Like, don't jump on solo queue and start playing it, immediately. It works. In theory, it works very well for this team, but it's good to see again.
Yeah,
It's always one of my favorite champs to play.
Yeah, ping's going down the tri-brush right there. We'll see what Sweet and Pilot want to do. They are just going to walk in there, and Fury will not taste the rainbow quite yet.
He might taste it later, though. And Rainbow's only going to get more powerful.
So, this Nidalee has some really good ganking targets, especially top lane. Trace is going to have to be very careful because if he just gets rune prisoned, it sets up a Nidalee spear and an all-in extremely easily. So they have to be very careful, especially because Azir also not going to be able to move around that much in the early game. If he gets a chain landed on him by LeBlanc, another easy gank opportunity for Eve. So,
man, Ryze's feet are huge. You ever notice that? They are downright gigantic.
He's like a hobbit.
You can fit like 3 heads in one of his boots. Kind of looks like he has a rolling pin too. It's like if we could have a Chef Ryze skin where he's got like a rolling pin instead of a roller thing.
Baker Ryze.
Yeah. Makes bread rise. Well, who gets the Krugs? Gonna be Eve.
So I'm very curious what they're going to do with this, because the last time we saw Samsung in Game 1 against the KOOTigers, they really had a surprising composition, and it was polished. It looked really practiced, really well executed by them. Now, they fell apart later on. They couldn't go for a full best of 3 with having that same level of execution.
Oh, hi. Wraith being annoying here with these Wolves, getting the pulverize onto Trace there. On the run now. He went very deep for this.
Yeah, just annoying things you can do with Alistar in one of these lane swaps. And
yep.
You start jungling on that weak side, and you open yourself up to those kind of plays. Sweet still sticking around in the top side, actually. They did get the freeze, so they really want to deny Cuvée here.
Well, they're doing a decent job of it so far. Still Trace with the same CS as well after a little bit of jungle following. Finally getting back to lane now. There we go. Cuvée getting a little bit of CS there. I'm really curious to see if this Ryze is going to be able to do, you know, substantial damage in the late game. You should be able to, but will he be able to get in and actually do it, though?
Yeah,
that's the question.
With how much peel JinAir has, one wonders, right?
Yeah. Well, if you look at like just Sivir and Ryze by themselves, too, and Event Horizon, the zoning that JinAir has, they're just not going to be able to get close enough to use their abilities.
Yeah, I agree. And the poke is a little bit limited. Obviously, you do have distortion from LeBlanc and the Nidalee Spears, but it's going to take a while for Nidalee to get a meaningful amount of ability power this game. Wraith again going in. Oh, man. Chaser has to be so careful. He could have died right there.
Yeah, especially with Eve right there, too. A spear plus a little bit of damage from Alistar might have done it. Looks like GBM's going to go back and pick something up. Pilot, though, getting a little bit of time to farm here in the top lane now.
Yeah, Sweet playing up in topside for quite a long time, just denying some CS by body blocking right there. Remember, Ryze did have some changes. Oh,
yeah.
That's annoying, but
not a ton of damage yet. You do use a lot of mana doing that, but if you can deny a bit of CS, it's not bad.
Oh, Wraith up here just to keep Cuvée safe while they push forward. But considering they didn't get the 1v1, this is actually very good for JinAir. Obviously, they can avoid what is, I assume, a very awkward lane with new Veigar and Vayne.
Yeah. Here comes Chaser into this 2v2 up in top. Not able to really find an opportunity yet, though. There was a gank attempt down bot lane by Eve as well, but Trace was able to fend that off easily. If you look at the mini-map.
Yeah, Samsung has to be super careful. They're very nervous right now, especially with this kind of telegraphing.
Yep. Well, they catch Wraith. A little bit of damage onto him here. Pilot condemns him back against the wall, but no real big follow-up. In fact, Sweet taking quite a bit of damage there.
Yeah, Chaser going to go ahead and check for wards right in that tri-brush, make sure that everything is clear, and then head right back to jungling. He's going to get pinged out as he goes to the Krugs. Saw him, so likely place for him to go is Evelyn. They also have those deep wards they got in earlier. So I'm going to suss him out. And otherwise, no real ganks yet, but JinAir just looking for a little bit of an easier early game. And Cuvée definitely not getting the same amount of CS that he would pick up in that solo lane either, so it's a nice denial tactic as well.
Yep. And able to push that back into turret to try to deny even more.
There it goes.
Yep. Into the turret. And they keep corralling Wraith. Put a little bit of damage onto him.
Got to put the bull in the corral. That's what you
right.
do. He's just role-playing.
Works out.
Except leprechauns didn't put bulls in corrals, unfortunately. Where is the cowboy Veigar skin?
Doesn't really work with the lore, does it?
That puts up the corral.
That's
That's
true.
what I want.
Like Ranch Hand Veigar or something?
That's right, Ranch Hand Veigar.
Cowboy Veigar. You can wear a big cowboy hat. I mean, it fits
Yep.
the big hat thing, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
Yeah, you can just have like a lasso that he like throws out and it gets really big. That'd be cool.
Well, lane swap finally moving on through, and it's freeing up Veigar now to do a little bit of roaming, get some wards in, and check some brushes.
Fury's getting a lot of nice farm to the bot lane too during all of this.
Yeah, he's going to have to recall though, which will mean that Pilot's just going to catch
yeah.
back up.
I suppose.
And they're not going to try and make a play onto the dragon with Chaser on the top side. So it's like just some more farming going on as the duo lanes will meet each other for the first time. Not even level 6 yet, so pretty early time to swap for Trace. Must be feeling good. Kuve just with the tier, of course, in the top lane. He's going to have to be a little bit careful about how he deals with this Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, he is a level up for now anyway. So he's got that little bit of an edge. Maybe that's why they switched a bit early, just an opportunity where Trace maybe could come into that 1v1 a little bit stronger.
Also just the tier power trough as well.
Right. Whoa, action coming in onto Crown here. Crown trying to get away with that passive. He actually goes deeper into the jungle. There we go. Chaser flashing over the wall. Crown still in a lot of trouble here. He's got no more summoners. Oh, nice spear onto GBM, though. They get first blood. GBM takes it, and Eve not able to get enough damage in follow-up. Meanwhile, some more action in bot lane. Sweet just having a support duel with Wraith.
And right there, Crown didn't use the Ignite. Both summoners used for GBM, but they do actually pick up that kill. Still a lot of all-in potential when Crown gets back into lane. Definitely not the end of things, as GBM is going to be really vulnerable to Nidalee coming back in, and Eve using a flash as well. So he has to play still quite cautiously, and we'll see if Samsung switches their approach up to camping this mid lane.
He certainly could.
They're going to take away the blue buff too. Nice takeaway.
Yep, they may pay
Samsung
for it, though. Dual lane coming up. We'll see if they can catch anybody. Oh, close one. All right, Eve gets it.
So hair off there, 14 HP. One last auto will take it off the map, and now Crown's back with nearly a Morellonomicon.
Yeah. GBM looking okay, too. Decent poking, of course, coming from that Azir. But yeah, you're right. With the summoners down, he's going to need to play it a little bit more carefully. They don't really have any wards, too. Oh, action in the bot lane. Pilot taking some big hits, as did Sweet. But yeah, it seems like JinAir is going to need to ward this mid lane a little bit better. They know GBM's going to be kind of vulnerable.
Well, Pilot is at an item disadvantage as well, just with the Vamp Scepter and the Longsword right now, not having the Bilgewater Cutlass completed, much less the Blade of the Ruined King. So now that Fury has a BF sword, keep your eyes on that one.
A blue steal, though, for GBM.
It's going in and reacting on the other side of the map. And so they get the blue buff in the end. And now what that means is no blue buff for Crown because Nidalee got the last one taken away from JinAir. So that actually worked out quite well for JinAir in the end.
Yeah. And Pilot's still doing okay CS-wise.
I do wonder why they switched back so early. I mean, Kuve and Trace going pretty even in terms of farm now. JinAir needs to start looking to make some plays around this dragon and start thinking about securing that. Trace with the Haunting guys right now. Once his TP is back up. Kuve's TP is up, however, but they haven't had the gumption to make an attempt on the bottom side of the map. It's bad ability.
There's not the most damage with that, I guess, just with the tier, but might have an opportunity. That turret taking a lot of damage, though, but I mean, you'd expect the Alistar Sivir lane to push in the Vayne Veigar. There's not a lot that you can do to stop that duo.
Yeah, the Veigar's not going to add much, and just the sustain from Alistar means that you can just continue pushing forward, and It heals all your minions also, so it just keeps things moving, keeps your minions topped off as they go into the turret.
Pretty much.
And here we go, dive coming in. They don't know Chaser's there.
Chaser will be found right now, though. There's a pulverize immediately from Wrath. Chaser in a little bit of trouble. Advice Horizon comes in. Fury locked against the wall. Pilot doing a lot of damage there. Fury forced a flash out of it. Teleport coming down for Trace as well. Here comes Azir from the top. Now GBM could come over the wall. A little bit of damage onto Wraith. They get the flash out of Kube as well. Oh, Fury comes back in, and Ground gets a kill as well. So out of nowhere, 2 kills for Samsung, and they're going to turn right onto that dragon.
Wow, it really looked like JinAir had their number, and they weren't going to fall to that dive, but at the end, they baited out. Fury tosses a boomerang blade in, and Crown goes in with a quick distortion, and they overcommit while being low in HP and just fall to the burst.
They all walked right through that narrow little choke and just got
play from
AoE down. Yeah. Good turn.
And JinAir, too. They didn't look like they were going to over-pursue that. They had already broken off their pursuit. Chaser takes a lot of damage right off the bat, but a good Event Horizon. And Fury just taking so much. Has to flash over the wall. There's an equalizer to cut everybody off. Now, GBM coming down. He's just trying to get some poke on the exit. They're not committed to this fight anymore. If you take a look, they start to turn around. And look at that double distortion coming in.
Wow.
Nice play from Crown.
Yeah. And that should mean a Fiend's pretty soon here for him. Oh, yeah. Morel Nomicon, rather. Oops.
Samsung still not taking too much of a gold lead here, as Chaser attempts to sneak in. No equalizer yet. The question is he going to wait long enough to have that up? Kuve's flash is down. Seems unlikely he'll be able to escape it as long as the equalizer is available.
Just waiting for Kuve to come up a little bit more. He's playing pretty safe, though. I mean, he only has that one ward in River. Yeah, Trace trying to bait a little bit there, but I don't think Kuve is falling for it.
Chaser really looking for this one, but Kuve has his wits about him, knows that this can only mean bad things, and just stays back, happy to farm under his turret, get that Rod of Ages and continue stacking that tier up. He's playing as passively as he needs to. Ryze is one of those champions with a very late item power spike.
Yep. Chaser really wants something here. And can they maybe dive this? It looks like they think they can. Going in, equalizer down on Kuve. That's a lot of damage. Trace just roasting him, flashing away, and he barely makes it out with his life. So a successful dive. Summoners used by Trace, but it worked out.
Trace not getting that kill, though, was taken away by Chaser, which is a little bit problematic. It would have been obviously nice for that investment to take him out, but still going to at least win him some farm because they pushed a big wave under that was denied and delay some of these items. Now Kuve also having to go for a null magic mantle just because of the burst that Trace has onto him. And it's wow, there's a turret on the bottom side.
Yeah, taken down already by Samsung. Nice little lead early on in game number 1.
GBM playing a little bit scared right now.
Well, he kind of has to with no real wards down the bottom side. Wow, can't really push too far ahead.
This lack of wave clear and the threat of the Nidalee Spear poke coming in is really driving JinAir off the towers. Trace has to come down to the bottom side and help as Vayne and Veigar search for safety in the top lane instead. And now that Kuve bought that magic resist, pretty much useless up there. He's going to be trading with his Vayne at the very least.
True enough, Tracer manages to grab the ground before Eve can take it away. So silver lining there at the end. Well, Event Horizon, they catch Kuve.
Oh,
decent amount of damage, actually. Sweet used that ult. That was very close. Pilot taking some hits as well, too. But
it was a nice combo. He chained it very well into the condemn against the turret, so Kuve has to back off after that. No TP to get back into lane. And now the lane swap going back in. Wraith and Fury have finished their job, taking out the tier 1 on the bottom side. Now it's time to take it out on the top side as well. Wraith getting some more wards in the jungle, just to make sure they know where Evelyn is.
A lot of wards. Crown gets his blue buff this time. It's a nice improvement over the last situation he was in with GBM stealing that. Ooh, Wraith gets spotted. And JinAir looks like they're ready for a possible dive up here in top lane. They've got enough people here that Samsung just has to kind of siege it a bit.
Yeah, you can't dive the Vanguard, though. That's not something that's going to happen. Too much stun underneath the turret. No reliable way to get back out. That would be a very risky proposition. And Samsung really holding on right now. They have this big-time scaling with their composition, but they haven't really suffered too bad in terms of the early losses, having that gold lead, getting a couple of kills already, and Crown just continuing to harass GBM.
Yep. I'd be interested to see the CS again now at this point. While Fury just spell shields his way through it. That works.
Can't keep sieging the turret after that. He would be alone in that task.
Yeah. So themes for GBM. Still a little bit behind in CS, though. You know, again, he has to just play it so carefully. Really can't move up in lane right now at all. I mean, they know where Nidalee is, I suppose, but still.
There's another tower down, so more gold in favor of Samsung, and 2 towers to 0 as Fury and Wraith just know where to be on the map. And this is where a lot of Samsung's power came from in the qualifiers and then earlier on this season, is that Fury is very good at quickly removing outer turrets. And that really helps get his team over the hump, helps him get an early gold lead.
Well, this kind of faster pressure split pushing style for Samsung, you know, so far seems to be really working for them. They seem to have kind of finally found an identity that they're comfortable with it. They have confidence that we haven't seen before.
Right, and they're using it in a lot of interesting ways too. Just because they've identified that Fury is good at this, and that Eve and Fury work together well to take down turrets. A lot of this game, Eve has spent just trying to zone out enemies from towers, as we see a dragon going down right here, just totally not contested, as everyone recalling.
Yeah, second dragon already for Samsung with no contest at all from JinAir. Wow. Yeah, JinAir starting to fall behind a little bit alarmingly at this point.
And this is part of JinAir's problem, where we talk about they don't really know their power spikes.
Yep. Oh, have they caught Wraith here? Wraith trapped in that event horizon. Fury, Kuve, the rest of the team still there to help him out there. So he's able to make it out. Oh, Fury getting a lot of nice auto attacks onto Trace there, getting a little bit too close with that Flame Spitter.
And now they're just grouping up as 5 and threatening this mid lane. They want that outer ring.
Yeah, oh, Kuve trapped again a little bit, but where's the follow-up? There we go, over the wall. Whoops, Pilot pushed away there. Wraith in a little bit of trouble now, and JinAir turns on it. There's a heal. Can they get him? Ult used by Evelynn even, and Wraith just so tanky survives here. Pilot takes a lot of damage to block doing it. GBM gets in the back line, pushes everybody forward, but it's a kill anyway for Kuve. Crown coming in, gets another one. Nice spear from Eve for that kill on the Pilot as he tried to flee. And Samsung just seems to have all the answers for JinAir this game.
And they just keep rolling. When you have someone like Eve and Fury, when they work together to take down the outer ring, you can accelerate the growth of some of your scaling laners like Kuve's Rise. And they just keep moving forward. And if you're JinAir, you can't be walking next to those towers.
Wow, 2 turrets here.
That's absolutely huge, but they took devastating losses, and JinAir not on the same page during that engagement. GBM thought he saw an opportunity when the event horizon went down to go ahead and get an Azir wall reversal, but there was no follow-up. JinAir simply too low in terms of HP to actually finish off those kills.
Yeah, this is a bit over-eager by GBM as we see him go in.
Yeah, and there's an equalizer. Doesn't do a whole lot besides force out the Sivir ult. And Wraith, they commit a lot to killing him, and they can't get him down due to all the heals coming in, Summoner heal as well as the Nidalee heal. Pilot takes a huge amount of damage from a Boomerang Blade, and who's supposed to kill these people that you just shoved in the JinAir Green Wing's face? No one is high enough. And walking right there against Nidalee sets up a very easy spear skill shot.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like 3 people there. It just happened the one left was low enough to get killed by it too. So pretty huge lead now, 6,000 gold at 20 minutes for Samsung, and they have really played this out extremely well.
Well, we saw the same thing against KOOTigers in Game 1. They had a great strategy coming in. They really looked crisp, but when it came to playing out a full best of 3, this team just, their compositions weren't so great in Games 2 and Games 3. When it,
he
nice
gets the
grab.
red buff.
When it went off script, it didn't work so well. So with the right pick and ban phase, I think JinAir can dissect this and bounce back in the second and third games here. But Samsung showing that they really have a lot more to them this season. I love that we see so much variation from them in terms of their picks and bans week to week. There's a lot of evolution.
Yeah, and I mean, still overall, too, we see Samsung moving in a positive trajectory. You know, they have to start somewhere, and being able to win one game in a best-of-3 is better than not winning any, which is what they did pretty much all of last season.
Yeah, and I think the teams will just learn to play wave clear against Samsung, especially a wave clear AD carry, so you can just match up with Fury better. Because when they get the fast push started, that's when they get the lanes that are not so strong rolling, and can develop gold leads where that scaling comes a lot quicker.
Well, there goes the ZER turret. And Chaser been trying to get things done with this Evelyn all game, but has had a couple decent ganks, but overall not able to put enough pressure on, you know?
Indeed, and there goes a lot of damage from that Rise as he clears out the minion wave. It's not too dangerous yet, but he is definitely getting up there. He works his way towards the Seraph's Embrace, takes a little bit of a detour for the Merc Dreads, just wants some more magic resist against the 2 AP solo laners.
Well, Samsung with all the pressure right now onto JinAir, their top lane might be pushing back, but this tier 2 and bot is in trouble. Event Horizon not really doing anything to save it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this Veigar pick. It really hasn't done a lot for them. They can't fight in the 2v2 because the Vayne and Veigar are so weak.
It seems like if it had been a more even game, maybe that would have worked. Like, on paper, it made sense to a certain extent.
Well, but it caused the disparity. Because as soon as they switched back into the 2v2, they started losing turrets left and right because they couldn't do anything to trade or to defend the towers. So, not really sold on the Veigar here, especially Vayne Veigar. That's not much you can do in a 2v2 situation.
Turn up. Well, before it was just GBM with all the interesting picks. Now, Sweet wants to get in on it.
Well, we'll never get to see his Bard.
Nope.
Well, maybe we will next game. Samsung's on the red side in the next game, so they'll have to ban Kalista, so maybe we'll get lucky.
Maybe they'll get really cocky and they'll be just like, we can let it through, no worries. We'll get to see it. Would be nice. Well, if you're JinAir right now, you know, what do? How do you know, can you scale well enough that if you just sit back and try to keep whatever you have left upright, you can maybe come back late?
I think you should just do what the KOOTigers did and try and bait Samsung into making poor decisions.
Well, that is kind of the Achilles heel right now for Samsung too. Is that they,
if you just wait long enough, they're still relatively new and they may make a mistake that you could just end the game off of. That's going to be your best bet.
Well, going for the 3rd dragon in a row right now, but JinAir wants to maybe try to punish this. There it is, 3 dragons. Trace waiting, and JinAir already backing away. So just going to let them have that. Continues to be a pretty clean game for Samsung. Oh, Crown coming in, doing a lot of damage to GBM. Wow, that was very close.
Yeah, one combo, pretty much taking him down to 50% HP, and Samsung thinking that making it maybe they're lucky. Bait out a kill here at the Baron. They have a lot of vision around the pit already, and certainly significant amounts of damage.
Well, it seems like Samsung, whoa, GBM getting really low, but it seems like, oh, Wrath coming from behind. They push back Chaser. Pilot there to do a decent amount of damage. GBM had to escape to the base for now.
Wraith, a little bit awkward, has to use his ultimate. GBM is forced back, however, and they do get the minion wave pressed up to the inhibitor turret.
It seems like Samsung could just sort of bait Baron as much as they want at this point.
Yes, they absolutely could. They have the engage for it. They have the crowd control for it. So they have that opportunity should they take it. Certainly the pick potential is definitely there as well. Huge amounts of burst. And very little MR. Trace just finishing that Abyssal Scepter.
Yeah. Kube really starting to get rolling now.
Yeah, it does take about 28, 30 minutes to get Rise on track with a fully stacked Rod of Ages and the Seraph's Embrace. So it's a slow process, but once it goes, it gets pretty big. As you notice, Eve has that Seraph's Embrace himself already, and still no Aegis. Chaser working towards it, but he's still a little ways off.
Seems like, you know, GBM is doing okay, but he's just going to have such a hard time doing damage at this point.
Yeah, besides it's just a little bit of poke.
Yep.
The Luden's Echo. It is dangerous, though, for Samsung to go too aggressively after this Baron, considering that there's a lot of AP threats on the enemy team. And they aren't very tanky at this point until Rise starts to buy some more defensive stats later in the game.
Well, JinAir trying to get a little bit more vision back around the Baron pit now. It's nice to see Eve's Nidalee back, too. His spears are so good, as you can see.
Yeah, he was the principal Nidalee player in Korea. And it has been played other places. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think that it really lacks in the late game, especially against champions like Sejuani or Gragas, where you're just never going to get that damage off. But
sure enough, oh, Trace may be getting caught here with slow damage. There's the spear coming in. Fury flashes ahead for that one. Equalizer used. Trace still alive. No, not anymore. Crown gets the kill there. Kube taking some damage from Chaser, but looks like he's okay for now. GBM coming in from behind. They help Pilot pick up his first kill here. Crown trying to escape now, so losses on both sides as far as the top laners are concerned.
Way too over-aggressive of Samsung right there. Fury flashing forward to attempt to pick up that kill, and they end up paying quite heavily for it, just in terms of summoner spells at the very least. And only a one-for-one trade. They're still going to try and go for this Baron.
Oh, GBM getting nearly blown up by Crown. Oh boy. If that chain had actually connected, I think GBM would be gone. Either way, it scares Samsung off the Baron anyway.
If they didn't have enough HP to do the Baron, of course, Wraith without the Unbreakable Will also creating additional problems. Does have a Talisman of Ascension now. So looking for that additional speed boost for the engage. They don't really have a way to lock someone down besides chains or a rune prison. So that is somewhat critical to their attempts to create picks.
Either way, though, it seems like we're kind of witnessing the slow Anaconda-style strangulation of the map by Samsung. Onto JinAir.
Yep, certainly a lot more wards. Also now Void Staff done for Eve. That is a very important purchase. Coming right as that Aegis is finished as well. So he's just staying one step ahead. And all the dragons going over to Samsung too. They're a minute and a half. They're going to be knocking on the doorstep of that 5 dragon buff. And that is probably where the game ends for JinAir.
Yep, pretty much. Oh, Fury really just trying to get in and do damage. Picking Yomu's Ghost Blade as his second big item this game.
It depends on the player. Prey does that as well on Sivir. Some players prefer that. Some players prefer Static Shiv. So the active can be quite good at taking down turrets, though. And if you're confident in your abilities to use it at the right moment in a team fight, it provides more burst damage.
That's true. If you have the wave clear coming from other champions too, you're fine with it.
Yeah, fortunately for Sivir, you have plenty of wave clear, whether you have a shift or whatever. So you have, in a way, more itemization options than many other AD carries do at this point in the game.
Trade-off is at low range.
Low range.
Very low range.
But it's worth it because she has the best ult for an AD carry.
What, you don't like Crystal and Arrow? That's my favorite ult for an AD carry.
Yeah, but that requires a skill shot.
I like skill shots.
But it's not as reliable as just hitting R and running at somebody.
That is true.
I do like Enchanted Crystal Arrow very much, and I think it's an excellent ability, but Sivir's ultimate is pretty ridiculous for competitive play.
Yeah. Well, it just gives the player so much time to focus on positioning instead of aiming an ult, you know?
Yep, this is Samsung playing this exactly right. Threaten the Baron, stop JinAir from baiting it while soloing it with the AD carry. Perfect distribution of resources. Wow. Fury's going to take some damage, but whatever.
I think that's okay when you get your 4th dragon out of it and your AD carry still remains untouched.
I have so many wards right there, too. It's just no real threat for Fury. Fury going to sweep through the enemy jungle while he's at it and start moving on this minion wave at the same time. And there's a heal coming in from Nidalee, so he doesn't have any lifesteal yet, but he has a high AP jungler to help him out.
With a heal? Yeah, he's jungle Nidalee is definitely still looking good right now. I don't know if it will look good against every composition, but against this, it's working out well.
It's really bad against some of the more engaged heavy junglers. But you'll also notice that Samsung did ban out Sejuani and Gragas this game.
It's true.
Those were two of their bans, and one presumes it's because they wanted to play Nidalee without getting Nidalee exploded instantly. But I don't know if Nidalee's worth it to play if you have to ban out both of those just to get her. If you're Eve and you happen to be a Nidalee expert, perhaps there's an argument to be made if you can take over the game.
Otherwise, it's a pretty big commitment.
Yeah, it's definitely a big commitment, and you really have to believe in your Nidalee player that they will take over the game, because if they don't, then the entire pick ban phase just falls to pieces.
As far as solo queue is concerned, Nidalee is the vein of the jungle, I think.
Well, Nidalee you can make place in solo queue because you can always find somebody who's just derping around on their own and kill them.
Why not play Talon at that point?
Because Talon's not a jungler.
Yeah, but if you want to just get kills on people, just play Talon. Hide in the fog of war, ult, blow people up.
But then you have to be a dirty laner, though, and nobody likes the dirty laners.
It's true.
We junglers.
Actually, everybody likes it. Everybody likes that in solo queue.
We junglers don't debase ourselves with the lanes.
Just kind of show up every once in a while when you're needed.
That's right. Still, JinAir doing an okay job of holding on right here with these Azir turrets. And Samsung is just not tanky enough to not take insane amounts of damage, because Kuve's building a Void Staff now. Elixir of Sorcery onto Eve's Nidalee also.
Still, though,
they pretty much just have to play around 5th Dragon because they can't get chunked out and survive a Baron fight.
Yeah, we're probably just going to see a lot of positioning around the map until then, unless Crown decides to come in. Oh, they did see him because of that ward.
Try and catch him in the event horizon. Not going to work.
That's hard to do. Oh, there goes the Azir turret.
Exciting times.
Yep. Oh boy, Sweet may have gotten almost caught. Gets the event horizon off just in time. Still poked pretty heavily, and that's going to give Samsung the opportunity to clear a lot of these wards that still remain, or the couple that still remain.
So this is all just a prolonged dance for Dragon number 5.
Yeah.
For Samsung, where they'll finally be able to force a fight without taking an obscene amount of damage on an objective.
Yeah, it's been very well played out, too.
Looks like they saw maybe Pilot go back. Nope.
Oh boy. It's a brush hide. Okay. Deciding not to. It was almost really exciting there for a moment. They really want to just get a pick and see if they can get an inhibitor out of it.
Yes, that is the goal, or maybe even take some sort of turret eventually, but it's so hard with this team composition to do anything.
Yeah.
Especially when the Rise just frankly isn't building tanky whatsoever. It's kind of a bummer to watch, actually, but
it's a standoff now.
Samsung is doing the right thing.
Well, next Dragon, that would be their 5th up in about 1:30 now. That's going to be pressure. Oh, here we go. Sivir activated. Event Horizon blocks people off. Wraith kind of on his own. Here comes Kuve doing a lot of damage to Pilot before Pilot condemns him away. He's still alive for now. Nice equalizer to slow people down. Turning in, but the double kill comes in anyway for Crown. Taking out Chaser and Pilot. Oh, GBM getting really low as well, too.
And there you go. There's the pick. They actually used the Flash Rune Prison just to get on top of Vayne right there. Blow all those abilities so you can see the burst. So they're going to wrap around the backside of this turret right now, see if they can pick up a few more. Yeah,
Event Horizon not really doing too much, and GBM in a lot of trouble. Headbutt pulverized. It's a kill on Veigar first, then why not one more? Another double kill for Crown. This LeBlanc is ridiculously strong right now.
And here we go, just pushing forward for the inhibitor. This is the right call because you can always just do that Baron afterwards.
Yep.
You have timing here with 2 more kills. JinAir getting a little bit greedy in their defense and not respecting Samsung's ability just to dive them under the tower. Fury and Crown really combining for a lot of kills in this game.
Yeah, Crown especially, man. 7-1 and 2 on this LeBlanc. Really stellar performance on that champion. And now it's Baron time.
It is Baron time indeed. At
Nope.
long last. Wraith not even going to be there to tank it. It's up to Eve and his heals. He's going to heal tank the Baron.
Why not?
Okay, well now Baron up, or Dragon up in 3 seconds. Just take a look at this fight underneath. They have enough minions right there. Sweet actually pulls the trigger really fast on that event horizon. And so they're happy just to continue to attack the turret. There's so many minions that they're not going to take aggro anytime soon.
Yep.
And there it is, GBM and the rest of JinAir actually take a dragon, so they prevent the 5th dragon.
Equalizer coming through. It does split up Samsung a little bit. They're trapped in that event horizon as well, but Trace just nearly blown up immediately. Nice head by Pulverize. Wow. GBM was there, and then he wasn't.
Fury just flashed into everybody.
It's a kill for Kuve as well, too. Fury unafraid.
I love that about Fury.
Yep. Well, goodbye, Trace. There we go. Another kill for Crown. And Sweet just on the run the entire time, but hey, they're always after his Lucky Charm, so he's used to that.
He is.
Yep.
They're chasing his Lucky Charms all the way into the base, it turns out.
There we go, waiting for those Baron-powered minions to get there. And at 37 minutes. Wow, there we go, they got him. Magically delicious. That is a magically delicious win for Samsung as they take out JinAir in game number 1. It was pretty...
Indeed it is. Pilot going back to a comfort pick on Corki this time, not having so much luck with the Vayne, but he will have better wave clear with that champion at the very least and have increased mid-game presence instead of really never coming into his own in that last one.
Well, this is the moment where Samsung can prove us all wrong and show that they can win games beyond the first one. And doing that against JinAir would be quite the statement for this team. Meanwhile, JinAir trying out their new mid laner. See what he can do on this LeBlanc. It's time to get in the game and see who comes out on top. All right, welcome to Summoner's Rift. JinAir Green Wings versus Samsung. And Kuzan in his first game ever in the booth.
Rocking the LeBlanc.
That's right.
Crown. Gonna dance like a bird. So, Kuve on top lane rise again. Worked out for him in the first game, but he had a lot of tools to help him close gaps with that Sivir ultimate in order to land those rune prisons and still had to blow flash for them pretty much every time.
Right.
Will he be as effective in this game where it's going to be even harder for him to land a rune prison? Obviously, the synergy with Italy is great for Eve's ganks, and Eve didn't really get a chance to gank because of the lane swap that came down. And Pilot going to recall right here. Will we see the 2v2 or will we see the 1v1? It's like we will see the 2v2 this game as Pilot's recall just going to send him back for a little bit of healing. Trey's going to stack some saplings up to get a fast level advantage while Eve starts on the top side of the map with a leash from Kuve.
And so, I feel like Samsung's going to be happy with this 2v2. Pilot and Sweet are going to need to be pretty careful in the spot lane.
Fortunately, they have a very tanky champion to be careful with.
Yeah, certainly does help.
It's like no Krug takeaway for the JinAir duo lane. Just going to leave it to Chaser and then back off. But speaking of advantages, Gromp is going to be taken by Wraith and Fury.
Ah, okay. So they will be coming into lane with a little bit of an edge experience-wise.
So Eve going to start topside. Instead, that means that there's this Rise going to be a little bit behind in terms of experience as Trace went ahead and took the fast Wolf camp. So slight advantages on both sides, depending on whether you're in top or bottom lane. Now,
And we'll see how Kuzan does in this mid lane too.
well, Pilot just got chunked right there, right after Fury and Wraith hit level 2.
Oh yeah, well, no big surprise there. That tends to happen.
Yeah, falling back to the turret immediately. Didn't expect the, well, they should have expected the Gromp because Rise was late to lane, so there are 2 leashes like that. Could have been a fake, but more than likely.
And Fury warding right as Chaser comes in here. Fury dashing away. They get the knock-up onto him. A little bit of damage. They get the flash out of the Samsung AD carry right away. A little bit of a dangerous ward there for Fury.
Yeah, and Sweet and Pilot not level 2 yet, so they couldn't capitalize on that.
Whoa,
Actually, Fury
nice
gets
grab
grabbed
onto
there.
Fury
That's
there.
huge.
Yeah. Wow, that was really
Already
big.
burning his pot. So Fury playing too far up, gets hit by the dredge line.
Yep.
Chaser coming in for a gank. Here we
Going
go.
in on the Crown. There's a flash knock-up. Crown could be in a bit of trouble. Pops that barrier. Still has flash available. He's going to use it. Meanwhile, Eve coming in, missing that spear. Chaser's going to go onto him. Eve getting very low here. Crown turns with a bit of damage from that Sand Soldier. They pop the passive for LeBlanc.
So many summoners burned, though. 2 in the mid lane for just the jungler flash and the ignite. So it's going to prompt Crown to play very cautiously and really going to commit Eve to counter ganking in the mid lane as well and not being able to take advantage of the fact that there is this rune prison to help him out in the top side.
Right. Kuzan in a pretty good spot, having his flash still available, I would say. Another Doran's Ring picked up by Crown coming back to lane, so he'll be a little bit stronger, but it looks like Kuzan's going to do something similar, picking up a couple items himself. So when it's all said and done, things about even overall. Across the board.
Yeah, some interesting jungle pathing, though, from Chaser. Definitely the bottom side didn't expect him to be there at 3 minutes, ganking them, considering they knew that he started on bottom side. So that was, now he's only now going for his blue buff. That was a little bit tricky from Chaser, and then going for the double gank right away. So a bit of unpredictable early pathing, early ganking, trying to use that power of Rek'Sai to get his lanes kick-started, and it worked. And now his bottom lane doesn't have to worry about the fact that Lucian is this lane bully early on. His Pilot has enough fuel to kind of hit 6 safely at this point. And his mid lane, too, getting that early pressure down, making Crown scared to move too far forward.
Pretty much. He's getting some jungling done on his side as well, too. And will we see him show up in the spot lane, maybe? Death sentence attempt from Wraith, but not really hitting anybody. Anybody of note? Just a minion.
Minions are nobody, huh?
Yep.
Well, I stand for minion suffrage, Doa. They should get a vote on what
Dude.
happens to them.
Minions.
They shouldn't have to mindlessly spawn at the Nexus and march down to lane and fight for literally no reason.
Minions are a homework assignment for amateur mages. That's what they are, according to the lore anyway.
That lore doesn't exist anymore, Doa. I don't know what you're talking
Some
about.
of it does.
Does that part exist?
I don't know.
No one knows what exists or doesn't exist
At
as
this
part
point,
of the lore.
at this point, I feel like I can just decide. You know, I can just like take what I need.
Well, Riot's not deciding, so you might as well.
Somebody's got to do it. I'm happy to pick up the mantle of lore leadership.
God help us all.
No,
And-
man, it's a good thing. Trust me.
And that's how everyone used the Force.
Oh, that's right. Sounds good. Wraith getting a little bit caught here.
Nice
Flay, yeah. All right. Another attempt by Chaser, but easily deflected by Wraith and Fury.
Yeah, staying far enough from that wall, separated as well. No flash there to guarantee that knock-up either, so nothing really of note going to happen. Eve will be prompted to take away the Gromp in that situation.
Sometimes you just feel like taking that Gromp.
Gotta take it, man. Gotta
Yep.
kill that stupid frog.
Get the Gromp. Do you really kill it, though? I don't think so. Oh, Crown dodging out of the way, but
Oh,
still taking
chains.
a lot of damage from Kuzan. Yeah, the chains were still there. Here comes Eve, though. Spear goes right through the middle. Crown, though, able to do a lot of parting damage on his way out of lane.
That Chaser was there just for the backup in case it was necessary, deterring Eve from committing to that with the pounce. And that'll be it, but Crown.
Oh, grab onto Sweet. Luckily, As explored earlier, Sweet is pretty tanky. He's going to go right back in onto Wraith, actually. Fury dodging around, putting the hurt onto Pilot there.
Yeah, dropping the Ignite a little early, Sweet, onto Wraith, so that actually didn't do as much as they had hoped. So in a way, Samsung winning that trade just because they were the ones to get the Summoner spell out on a non-preferential target while Wraith held the trigger on his.
True. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Trace has Kuve pretty much pushed back, tiny little CS lead there. But Kuve, you know, not in any hurry to get on the map and do something. It's just sort of a farm fest right now. Oh, here we go. Backing on the Crown again, and Crown with no flash just yet. It's almost up. He's got the barrier, though, doing a lot of damage, but taking a lot himself, too. Chaser could come underneath the wall when the cooldowns comes back. Prey Seeker, Sweet gets first blood. That's how you do it, man.
All of a sudden, Nautilus just walks in from nowhere to steal the kill with his
sorry. Did your mid laner want that kill? Sorry, I'm here to auto attack.
And Riptide.
That's right. That's right. All right. Sorry, guys. I did my job. Back to the bot lane for me. Thanks for getting the thanks for getting that one started for me.
Yeah, picking up those mobility boots, putting them to use immediately, and finding a kill quite early on. Pilot maintaining that CS after that nice early gank. He's been farming up here on the Nidalee to relatively nice advantage, but that assist should help out in terms of the gold. Kuve is going to walk right into a tri-brush with a Rek'Sai in it. He gets the ward down without any ill effects.
True enough. Spot lane isn't the most exciting thing we've ever seen, is it?
No, but it will start to get exciting. JinAir being very active on the map early. They've got to hit the earlier power spike. Double tier for Samsung, so they're a ways out for really doing anything. And question is, how fast can Pilot start sieging some of these turrets with the Sheen and making his presence felt in the mid lane and the top lane to continue to start to push down these outer towers.
Well, he's got the ult already, so it's kind of a question of when JinAir decides to start moving him around a bit.
Yeah, it's got to take down that bottom one, but the poke coming in is going to be quite helpful. Here comes
Chaser. There we go. Flash twist advance onto Kuve. Kuve taking a lot of damage. Got that flash, moving away. Is he tanky enough? I don't know, man. Trace diving right now. Prey Seeker helps Trace pick up the kill. Chaser adding a little bit of damage on, but Samsung responding appropriately with that first dragon.
Yeah, Chaser has Void Rush, though, so he could come down here if he wants to. Looks like they're not going to commit to that. Instead, Chaser going to set his sights on the red side jungle of Samsung. Give up that dragon just to keep the Rise down, but snap response from Samsung on the top lane. Gank, they will get the dragon.
Does ganking Rise really do a lot for you, though?
Sure, it slows down his item progression pretty nicely.
There was a time where Rise dying in lane a couple times early on didn't really make much of a difference.
Yeah, but some items have changed with Rise too, where it becomes more impactful right now. He's not going to get as tanky due to the changes in Banshee's Veil, where it doesn't supplement his damage as well. And some of the changes to his kit also. He's not as reliable in terms of damage now that some of his abilities are skill shots. But yeah, this is, I mean, slowing him down means that you open up a larger window where you have time to maneuver before you get a late game Rise spitting out damage.
True enough. Well, not really behind in CS at all, at least. Just a tiny bit. Things still being fairly dead even almost CS-wise between the two, or between the three lanes.
Yeah, it's just a couple of kills that are separating JinAir at the moment, but they're going to start doing something soon. Kuzan actually going, instead of a Morel and Amakar, going for a Chalice this game. Looks like he was just trying to deal with some of the poke coming in off the Crown.
Wow, it goes in on the Crown there.
Yep, Crown just pushing him off ever so slightly, and that'll allow Kuzan to farm up a little bit more underneath his turret. Still, Pilot having to go back for the Krugs right there. They're scared of this, and I would be too.
Spear right into the death sentence, and yep, Sweet has a reason to be scared.
Tried to get the pink ward in. Didn't expect 3 people in that brush.
Yeah, seriously.
Little bit of a face check right there, but even if Pilot had been there, unlikely you could make a play. Now this is going to mean that Chaser gets an angle on the top side. There's the chilling smite.
Yep, that's right. They're just going to dive this easily, take him out again, and JinAir is starting to camp this top lane pretty heavily, but it looks like they're going to have to give up the bottom tier 1 for it.
This has been such an MO from Samsung. Eve camps the duo lane. Eve sits in lane with the duo lane and autos the turret to death with the lane so that it opens up some rapid rotations from Samsung and a continued snowball of turrets. Meanwhile, Trace has done hardly anything at all to the top side. They're going to try and take away the red buff, but same thing that we saw from Samsung last game. Eve was at least prowling around Fury's lane, trying to push people off the towers. Trace just punching that turret, but I don't think it's going to go down before Fury and Wraith can get there and turn things over. This time, however,
pretty close.
Pilot and Sweet already knocking at the tower gates, and they have that sheen to make short work of it. Rise gets there. He will be able to ult to clear out the wave.
Yeah, still not going to be easy to maintain that defense of that turret over time, I suppose. Oh, there we go. Death Sentence just barely misses Trace. That could have been a little bit risky if that would have hit. No flash for Trace right now. And
well, with a cowl, he probably would have died.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't really have any defensive items against the AD that Fury would be doing. And Fury getting fairly close to his Infinity Edge, too, I imagine.
This time, however, Chaser's just going to go and position himself to hold in the top side. Kuve has to come back around. Doesn't quite have his ultimate back up yet. Now he does, but no use on that. The tower should be getting chipped slowly. Trace wants to recall. And yeah, so JinAir answering with the turret this time. Not happy with how things snowballed out of control with those turret kills in the first game. This time playing a lot better, a lot more aggressively on objectives instead of sitting back while Fury just gobbles up all of your turrets.
Close call with the spear there. Dragging up in about a minute 30 again. Let's see if Samsung can claim another one. Who's on a little bit up in CS? Crown just unafraid to fight him too. Could be a pretty explosive duel in this mid lane at some point.
And the help of some of these junglers. Chaser wants a Giant's Belt first here. Interesting pickup. That's something that you see typically on a lot of junglers.
Yeah, maybe
and
they
here we go. They want to shut down Fury. Fury all by himself and all kinds of dead.
Teleport coming in here. Going in onto Trace a little bit. The turret doing some damage. Kuve got there in time. Chaser taking a lot of hits, but Fury so low already. Flashing away, dodging, fade away, calling. He comes back in. Kuzan appears, gets the kill. There goes Kuve as well, too. So JinAir with a big win up in the top lane. Here comes the rest of Samsung, though. The spear comes in. They're going to get a bit of revenge here. Onto Trace. Chaser in a bit of trouble as well here at Zero with the kill. Crown picks up that one. Meanwhile, Kuzan deflecting some of those sand soldiers.
Yeah, Kuzan's not done yet.
Away.
What?
Now he is.
Oh, that was weird. He like bounced off the Emperor's Divide in a wall.
I don't know.
That was a very strange interaction.
I'll have to see that one again. Not quite sure what happened there.
Kuzan, though, coming up with a couple of kills. And you could see them turning onto the turret immediately instead of Fury before they had actually drawn aggro because the teleport came in. So they wanted to try and focus down the turret before the teleport could complete and then kill Fury. But Kuzan already on the roam. And so now they actually take down the turret. There is Kuve. Remember, he doesn't have a lot of damage yet, so he's not the most useful in some of these fights. Kuzan flashing forward to get there in time, picks up the kill, and then when they start to split Eve and everyone collapsing, but Sweet hot on their heels, and Trace will go down, but Wraith also will fall after getting healed right there. Knocked down by Kuzan as well, and I'm not exactly sure what. I wanted to see it again. I wasn't really sure what happened with that interaction. It looked like he hit the Emperor's Divide in the wall. It like bounced around a little bit.
It was a bit odd. Oh, meanwhile, Dragon gets taken by JinAir. Kuve taking some damage from Trace here. Trying to get away from this Maokai. It is not easy. Twisted Advance comes in. Kuve pops that ult to run out.
When you can get soloed by a Maokai, I don't really think that's a great champion.
Yeah, not going well.
I'm glad to see Trace playing a little bit more aggressively. Obviously, Trace has a lot of items to deal with the damage coming in from Rise, but he doesn't even have a completed Rod of Ages yet, and we're nearly 18 minutes into this game, so that means he's not even going to hit his full power till, again, 28, 30 minutes. That's usually where you're looking at with the current Rise builds, and it's too late. It's too late. And he's so useless before that. It's not that he's scaling and he has some level of power where maybe he has like a power spike like Kog'Maw does where he gets the Luden's Echo but still has the tier. No, he's just bad up until he completes Seraph's and the Rod of Ages is stacked.
Well. Yeah, well, it's like we talked about. I mean, Samsung not looking like they can adapt easily to a second game, you know?
Well, they get that one win, and they have this one comp that's really finely tuned and prepared, and then they try and run it again, but some of the pieces are suddenly missing from the engine, and it sort of sputters and dies.
Let's see what they have for Game 3, though. I mean, this one's not over yet, but it's looking fairly good for JinAir.
I'm trying to picture what a Samsung win looks like in my head, and it pretty much just involves them getting a pick with Nidalee.
I think it involves mechanics from Azir and Lucian. Sphere didn't do bad in that last fight.
They could still have that big outplay, of course.
Right.
It's close enough that things could turn around.
Well, they've got champions that at least allow the possibility of that, you know?
They do, but now they're behind in turrets with the scaling champions, whereas last game they were ahead.
Right.
Pilot needs to start thinking about switching over to the mid lane soon and actually making a more aggressive play onto that mid turret so they can just continue snowballing, continue that siege, and get an even bigger gold lead than the one they have already.
JinAir getting a lot of really good wards down in the enemy jungle as well too, so doing a good job of taking advantage of the edges that they've had to just get a lot of map control out of it. And this mid turret is probably not going to live too much longer. Yep, that is about that. And so all three outer turrets down for JinAir. Only one on the side of Samsung.
Trace gets hit by a spear, but just not doing very much damage yet.
Nope.
Though Nidalee does stack that tier awfully fast. Actually, his tier is fully stacked currently, I believe, because I'm not seeing it stack right now while she's in the jungle. So,
oh, that's true.
Usually the tier is fully stacked on a jungle Nidalee if you buy it early by about 18 minutes. Because Pounce will stack it without using any mana. Quite a little handy ability.
Right. Yeah, it's probably getting pretty close, if not already done. And there's a blue buff steal for JinAir. Yeah, Samsung, they're going to need that big outplay if they want to have any chance to take this game because they lost map control. They've, you know, kind of lost the ability to have like a big straight up team fight.
Now their jungle getting entirely taken over as well, so that's going to not allow Eve to continue farming up and getting magic penetration that he needs pretty badly at this point onto his Nidalee. And slowly just pushing forward. Looks like JinAir has had enough for the moment, want to recall and go pick up some more items where they commit to another fight, but Trace just putting on immense pressure at the top side.
I suppose Dragon is coming up fairly soon too, so it is time to start to think about that. They've already got pretty good vision, so it's time to make sure they've got all the items they can.
Yeah, it's intelligent timing. Play it nice and slow. KOOTigers having a really good performance for his first professional game, actually. Especially what impressed me was his roam into the top side and his ability to beat out Crown to that roam and actually committing to a flash to join the fight to get the ignite and kill Fury. That was quite good.
Yeah. KOOTigers certainly having a pretty good first game so far. Dragging up in about a minute now, and JinAir starting to sort of gather around that. Both top laners with the teleport, so they can join it at any time. But again, it just doesn't seem like Kube is going to really be able to be impactful, you know, in any fights that happen in the near future.
Yeah, KOOTigers quite young, actually. He just turned 18 in January.
Wow. He's a bit young.
I was curious if they weren't using him last season because he was 16 and he just turned 17, but that is not true. Just developing that talent before they put him into that substitute position. A lot of the teams here in Korea do have players on their rosters or in their team houses that are not officially part of their rosters.
Right.
Scout also. SK Telecom has a third mid laner named Scout.
Because Easy and Faker aren't enough, you know.
CJ has an entire B team, actually.
Yeah.
Like, that's where Roar came from on IM, and they replaced him. But you see all these people named CJ Trick and Max and Helper on the ladder.
Yep.
Max now an official substitute, but everyone else on the CJ B team not actually able to be used by the team in Champions.
I mean, it's been pretty common throughout the history of Korean esports as JinAir takes his Easy Dragon, that teams would have these sort of B-teamers, you know, that live in the house, that practice with the players, but aren't like officially part of the team and don't really compete in anything. They're just there to sort of practice and
develop,
grow.
develop until they get to the point where they can compete professionally.
Yep.
Now that's changing a little bit because the Korean challenger scene this season has split into two different divisions, and they have a division for the B team of the champions teams.
That's cool.
So they actually do have more of a chance to compete this time around. And they're isolated away from the amateur teams too, so they don't just come in and wreck them.
Sounds fun. Probably not the best for competition.
No, but it is good that both sides, both the amateur teams and the B teams, are going to get a lot more competitive practice.
Right. Well, right now we're kind of taking a look at the turrets for Samsung and seeing that the Tier 2s really haven't taken much damage yet. But, on the other hand, Samsung has only taken one turret down total in the game.
And they keep falling further behind too. Now we're looking at that 5K gold lead. Especially this top side, the Rise really just not working out against the Maokai whatsoever. The repeated ganks by Chaser, shutting him down. Not able to have any of those movement abilities to get away, so his lack of flash was really abused. And now JinAir has a lot to show for it.
Pretty much. Fury a bit behind in CS as well too, just kind of trying to keep up. Nice ward, but Sweet finds it anyway.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, Trace caught in the top lane here. Sweet coming in to try to help out. He ults onto Eve. Pilot coming in to add his own damage in here. Fury mixing it up. Got to back away though. He's down to about half health now. Sweet still taking a lot of damage. Eve getting very low here. Sweet gets killed by the death sentence from Wraith. Crown meanwhile dueling with Kuzan in the mid lane, or the jungle rather. Chaser comes back out, and overall Samsung on the disengage. Kuzan could come over the wall. Opts not to. He has like no health remaining.
Really risky engage from JinAir. They are lucky they didn't get punished harder than they did. Trace going up, but Kuzan didn't have an angle. He was cut off actually by Crown in right above the Baron pit alongside Chaser, where they sort of lost a 1v2. So if you look at this right here, as they start to turn it around just due to their gold lead more than anything else, and their power spike with Corki, the actual hook will kill Sweet. Death sentence.
That's great.
Death sentence. And now we see picture in picture. The Baron is going down. JinAir just heads straight over and picks that one up. Right as the recalls from Samsung go through.
Yeah, everybody recalled, so JinAir free and clear to go and take that Baron. And they do.
Easy.
Yep. Samsung certainly not having the easiest time themselves.
And now they finally should be able to.
This should help kill some turrets.
Yeah, deal the coup de grace here. They have the tools at this point. They've got a great Corki power spike going on. And Fury, they've got good turtling potential. Got the culling, got a little bit of Azir there to help out, but the split push also from Rek'Sai here going to be difficult to deal with.
A bit of Azir is not enough Azir. You need a lot of Azir.
You do need a lot of Azir. Samsung trying to set up a pick.
You need all the Azir you can manage.
But they're going to have to go actually deal with these tier 2 turrets, and they're going to have to pop out of the Raptor Brush. 3 lanes pushed up to the tier 2 right now. Rek'Sai actually backs off before autoing the tower, just Shove the minion lane in there. Now they're going to see Fury on the bottom side. Will this mean a dive on top?
Well, we'll see. Chaser down in bottom. Wow, Kuzan getting a little bit poked from Crown. And, you know, Crown, I mean, if you look at his items, he's got some damage. Perhaps adding on the Void Staff in the near future here. But either way, he can certainly poke.
Yes, he can. So, yeah, they may be able to hold on to these tier 2s even through this 3-lane split push that's going down because they have the Lucian. Rek'Sai just going to return to lane right as Lucian leaves. So they finally, I think, caught Samsung with their pants down, the bottom side of the map, and the jungler will probably get this tier 2 turret.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way. So JinAir just needs to kind of grind to victory now.
LeBlanc should have gone and pushed the tier 2 in the bottom side instead of staying mid right there. She can't really deal damage as long as Azir's there, but she could have helped get that tier 2 turret down to the bottom side, popping over the wall with the distortion. So Kuzan, not making the most of that opportunity, I feel, but they get 1 turret. Could have gotten 2. Maybe they'll get another 1 now.
It could be. Baron buff getting closer to running out, and Samsung all grouped up in the mid lane, so I think it'll be a little bit too risky for JinAir to engage on.
Yeah,
they've already backed away.
That's a little bit of a rookie mistake. If you know there's no defense on that bottom side and you have a choice as a highly mobile champion like LeBlanc to pop over a wall and go help your jungler split push that one down, you go down there. You don't just keep running into an Azir with Sand Soldiers zoning you out and preventing you from autoing the tower. So you can see he's still a little bit raw.
Yep. Still a bit of a rookie, but I wouldn't call him a noob. It's been a pretty solid game overall.
Yeah, hasn't died yet. That's certainly commendable.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you can complete your first game professionally ever without dying, that's pretty good start.
And here comes Pilot, soloing that dragon out. He has the Blade of the Ruined King for the sustain. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Trace gonna give him a little bit of a helping hand.
Either way, it's the 3rd dragon already for JinAir.
Still could be looking at a while on this game, even with their large lead, just because of how well Samsung can turtle.
Yeah. And if they turtle long enough, could maybe even end up in a situation where if a team fight goes poorly for JinAir, they could lose a little bit too much.
Ryze is always terrifying no matter what. He has an Abyssal Scepter now. Still no Seraph's Embrace, however. But that Abyssal very helpful against the poke.
Yeah, he could have probably bought it by now, but I think the Abyssal kind of took priority. Seems like a good pickup against this JinAir team.
Yeah, definitely is. I like the fact that they're committing so much with the Rek'Sai split push. If you notice, Rek'Sai has tunnels on both the bottom and the top side of the map, and in both sides of the jungle, both his side and their side, so there's a lot of Void Rush options. And they have to spread Samsung thin.
True. Wow, that's a lot of damage on the Crown. Oh, man.
Not even a Void Staff done for LeBlanc yet. They want Fury.
Oh, and they're going to twist advance onto him. It's a long one because of the flash. Nice dredge line catching Fury, and they just blow him up. Corki doing a lot of damage. Kuve coming down to try to help out Samsung. Pilot taking a big hit, but the turret taken out in favor of JinAir anyway.
Very smooth tower dive.
Yeah.
Right there. Finding Fury all by his lonesome and just committing to that with Trace and Sweet, and then backing out.
Trace not needing to use his teleport there too, so that's another little edge for JinAir in the next coming minutes.
Very true. Okay, well, back to sieging right now. I think they'll probably just back this off this soon and go for the Baron instead. They don't have the Righteous Glory up for a little bit.
Or will they?
Or will they? No Fury to clear the way.
Yeah, why not? Well, they grabbed Kuzan, but it doesn't really matter. There goes the turret anyway. No one to add anything to that death sentence from Wraith, so Kuzan not really worried about it. Looks like he's going to recall about a minute until Baron. So it's a good time for JinAir to go back and make sure that they have all the items they can get.
Yeah, and just go for the Baron, then you can push in for the kill. Kuve catching up a little bit in terms of farm, but still well behind where he needs to be to have a big impact on this game.
Ryze like takes out his book and reads it when he's collapsing a Rek'Sai tunnel. He's just so bored with what he's doing.
Gets a few sentences here or there, you know?
They don't really seem to be like stomping the tunnel out or like kicking dirt back into it. They just sort of stand on it and like vibrate really fast.
It causes an actual mini earthquake.
I guess so.
Region.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous to be near champions when they do that.
Small localized earthquake. Well, it's dangerous to be in that tunnel when they do it anyway. You stand next to him, you're like, oh, it's kind of annoying.
It's very handy for Rek'Sai that her tunnels can't be collapsed while she's traveling through them.
Yeah, that's true. Glad it's not like an instant kill or something on Rek'Sai.
That'd be hilarious if it was, actually.
That would be.
But you have to get like 3 champions on it for it to be an instant kill. So that way you can play AoE compositions where they have to choose between instant killing Rek'Sai and all grouping together.
See, then Rek'Sai just gets, he doesn't die, he just gets, or she doesn't die, she just gets knocked down to the underground cave level of Summoner's Rift, right?
Here comes Trace, pings all over some wards. They really want this teleport flank.
And he's big too.
Okay, tower's down. Are they going to go for it? No, that was not there.
Oh well.
Sad
You
times.
tried to build the hype, and I appreciate that. I'm sorry it didn't work out.
Pilot was all alone in top lane, not going to contribute to that fight. Crown is taking a lot of damage from Kuzan. Kuzan likewise, though.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to dash in, you're probably going to get poked pretty hard by the sand.
Trace has been sitting there for about a full minute now.
Yeah, well, he just, you know how it is with these solo queue games. You have people going AFK and all that. It's really annoying.
Here we go. I found it.
Report. Oh, never mind. Teleport coming in and gets knocked up immediately, though, by a Crown. Wow, Wraith just gets evaporated, though. Trace turning around, going on to Kube right away. A couple knockups keep him locked in for Pilot to pick up that double kill. And that should be all they need to maybe go after this Baron.
Yeah, Eve is still up. Maybe there could be the chance of a steal, but having the Nidalee walk into that jungle against the Maokai is incredibly dangerous because Nidalee can be one-shot. This is one of her problems as a jungler right now, is that she doesn't add enough damage to offset how squishy she is.
Right. So only a small element of danger for JinAir in taking this Baron. That ends up being no danger at all, as nobody from Samsung even comes close.
That's a 12K gold lead, so maybe JinAir will play a little more aggressive, start to go for these dives now, really push forward to end this game.
You're just kind of having a party by Ryze's body there. It's kind of hanging out.
It's with a hot party spot, Ryze's corpse.
That's right.
Haven't you been to a party at Ryze's corpse, Noah?
I've danced the night away over Ryze's corpse many a time, Monte Cristo. That's right.
I just don't see enough of the upside on this Ryze. I mean, last game Ryze was fine, but it wasn't like what Ryze was doing was the reason why they were winning the game. And if you just repeatedly gank Ryze, he can do hardly anything at all.
Sure enough. Then when he's dead, you can really annoying by like writing stuff on his scrolls, you know? Like I would like write Doa rules with like a Z on his big scroll. He hates that.
Messes up all his incantations.
That's right.
He's just reading a spell along, and then all of a sudden he blurts out Doa's rules, and then he shakes his...
Karnak Doa rule. Wait, no, not again!
He shakes his fist at the sky.
Yep.
There's Kuzan.
You're right. That was Kuzan. And a 4th dragon now.
Good debut. Good debut from Kuzan.
Yeah, not bad at all. We'll see if they play him against a team that's not Samsung.
Fair enough. And here comes Samsung.
Oh, boy.
With...
Oh, hi. Minions, no, you gave us away. It would have been hidden if it weren't for those minions coming down the lane.
Those dastardly minions,
I
always
know.
giving away your position.
You never expect that.
Oh, you expect it every 30 seconds. It's actually quite predictable.
Well, apparently Samsung wasn't expecting it. We'll just wait here. Oh, that's right, minions. Oh.
Wow, JinAir really playing this one passive. Rek'Sai not even pushing up to the turret, instead going for the Krugs instead of empowering that minion way further. Now finally walking up.
They just want to rub it in Samsung's face, you know? They're like, we're going
I
to
don't
make
get
you...
it. They have Flash on Maokai. They could easily dive a tower right now.
I don't know.
Flash W on Maokai. Trace is so tanky.
They just want to break Samsung emotionally, you know? Before they break their nexus.
Tire him out.
It's not enough to just... Kuzan's like, this is my first game. I don't want to just win, I want to break them. Kuzan's so evil.
Wow, Kuzan.
I never knew. Wow.
What a villain.
Scary guy. It's Kuzan, whatever his name is. The Dark Prince of JinAir.
He really looks like a Dark Prince. When I look at his face, it really just screams Dark Prince.
He's got a sinister look about him. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's gone. Kuzan, the Dark Prince, claims another victim. Oh, they're chasing, though. Yeah, even crown coming in. Oh, the Dark Prince, though, able to take out that turret. Inhibitor goes down, meanwhile, in bot lane.
And there's a shutdown gold for Wraith, actually, but they lose an inhibitor on that kill, so probably not worth. And now Kuzan just getting a Banshee's Veil for good measure.
Why not?
Make sure you can't get tagged by those spears and then have
prisons.
that pounce close the gap.
It's no fun. Celebration sweeper. There might have been a word there.
Celebratory sweeper.
That's
No one
right.
expects that one.
Nope.
Just gotta put up. There aren't any disco balls in this game, so that's usually what people use.
Well, there's no Oriana right now anyway.
For the party at Rise's corpse.
That's right. It is a great party. Well, he's got like a shiny kind of bald head, so they just like shine a Lux just like shines a light on him and it reflects. And has the same kind of effect. Kind of morbid, but it works, you know? But there's nothing but gallows humor to be had in the League of Legends.
It's true.
Fighting day and night.
Forever.
A depressing prospect.
Just an endless cycle of death and rebirth.
That's right.
The Buddhists were right.
Once the summoners made us fight, now we are broken and fight only because it is all we know.
Although it is just a matter of perspective. This would, you know, the reality of Buddhism and the cycle of rebirth is really just Viking heaven, where they just fight and kill each other and then come back to life and feast and drink and fight and kill each other again. So
sounds pretty sweet, man.
Just about how you look at it. Is this Valhalla, or is this the wheel of suffering?
They're going to show up shiny and chrome. Don't worry. Well, here we go. Another inhibitor under threat. Death sentence not connecting for Wraith. And JinAir trying their best. Well, maybe not their best, but trying to end it.
And there is an Azir turret for extra turbling potency.
Right. Why not?
Well, because we wanted this game to end, Doa. That's why not.
Wow. Well, I appreciate Samsung, you know, fighting it to the bitter end, right? Not going down without a fight.
Maybe going to a third Baron for the JinAir Green Wings.
Quite possible. Maybe that fifth dragon as well, too. See, JinAir, this is the whole plan. They're just delaying it long enough so that they can also get 5 dragons in their win in this best of 3.
More dragons, more better.
Yep.
Oh, the Azir turret almost dead at long last. His pilot
It's getting there.
takes a spear, but just heals up off the minion wave.
See, if you throw a spear into the rotors on Corky's little helicopter thing, that does a lot of damage, man. That can really mess up the aerodynamics.
Oh, Death Sentence just out of range, and there's another inhibitor falling. A convenient 30 seconds before the dragon.
40 seconds.
40 seconds before the dragon. 30 seconds before the Baron, excuse
Right.
me. Got it straight now.
Nice.
Nice, ooh.
Everyone recalling. Nope, just kidding. He's got to go and take a walk in mid lane. Got to protect that dragon.
Yeah, gotta get over there.
Well,
Check out that blue buff. Chaser gonna take it.
Yep.
And
It's a bit awkward, actually.
will Samsung get their second turret of the game? It is barely hanging by a thread, and there's the dragon up at 6 seconds. Samsung really committing to this, despite the fact that minions are knocking on the door of their base right now.
Hey, they've got to do something. They catch Sweet. Wow, okay. Should have played Bard, buddy. Could have magical journeyed your way out of that one. And I guess Samsung gets the dragon. Ooh, that was a close call with that phosphorus bomb, actually, but they got it, and they're going to be able to get back to the base in time to take out these minions, too.
You know what you wanted, Doa?
What did I want?
This game to be longer.
I wanted that so bad. You have no idea.
Well, Sweet gets caught out a little bit right there trying to ward, and he thought it was safe because Chaser, I don't know why he thought it was safe. There should have been tremor sense there on that.
Yeah.
From the Rek'Sai. Instead, they're just going to go for the 4-man Baron. Sweet, you don't get any. You were the one who face-checked the dragon.
He doesn't deserve it. Although his first blood was pretty awesome this game.
It was good.
That was good. Think they're going to delay it for 6 more seconds? Nah.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
They really.
risky.
Wow. What a great team that was. They really care about their support.
I'm surprised. Sure, Kuzan was defending the perimeter, but had Nidalee been able to sneak through that,
That would have
and
been
just
hilarious,
flash
actually.
smite in the pit, it had 200 HP.
Yeah.
It would have been really, really sad.
I think it would have been the opposite of sad. I think it would have been
I would have
really,
laughed for like a good minute.
It would have
about
made
that one.
it would have made me very happy.
I mean, Nidalee can go over a bunch of walls and is pretty fast. You don't know when that sneaky cougar is going to get in your pit.
Okay.
You like my sentence?
I think that was. I think it was worded beautifully. It was. I don't think anyone could be confused about exactly what you were talking about, which is Nidalee stealing Baron. Nothing else.
I like to make very creative phrasing.
That's good.
That are certainly not euphemisms.
Someday when we have like some intro video for you and like what you do, we need to use that clip. You saying that. Someone asks what Monte Cristo does. Now we know. Well, Trace, he's like a really big fan of Star Trek, so he wants to get hit with those spears. He wants that Klingon logo above his head as much as possible.
Kapla.
Kapla.
All right. Are we done with this game yet, Noah?
Not yet. No Kapla yet for JinAir. And there goes the mid inhibitor. Now they have to take out the bottom one. Gotta catch them all.
Turret Mon, Inhibitor Mon. Well, there's super minions on the Nexus right now.
Run away. Oh, here we go. Never mind. Opposite run away. They go in. Emperor's Divide pushes back JinAir a little bit. Culling comes in. Kuzan. Actually, JinAir taking a lot of damage, but they should be able to get that health back very quickly. Whoa, flash from Kube. They get the Rune Prison onto Kuzan. Meanwhile, the Nexus turret goes down. But they push JinAir right out of the base. Get out of there. Good job, guys.
Everyone going to recall right now.
Yep.
For one of the slowest kills ever.
Yeah, I thought the fatalities in Mortal Kombat were agonizing.
Not really. They're over quite quickly, actually. I wish this was some sort of brutal fatality, Doa.
This is like
this is death by 1,000 cuts right here.
It is, man. This is like when the Boltons in Game of Thrones take someone out, man. They're just like peeling the skin off piece by piece. Gross. Samsung being flayed alive here. Next game, Samsung's going to come into the lobby, and it's going to be like Reek Crown, Reek Eve, Reek Fury.
Okay. I think this might be it.
Don't get your hopes up. There's an Azir turret.
No!
To the bitter end. Tonight we dine in hell.
Oh, now we have to wait for more
right.
super minions.
Nice job.
Oh, boy.
Oh, top inhibitor's back. Better go take it out.
They should. Get those inhibitors. Get the double super minions rolling once again.
That's right. You know, it's really like 7 versus 5 with all those sand soldiers.
It's not fair, is it? Got
No.
a couple man advantage.
It is.
Could be actually getting pretty tanky now.
Yeah. All right. One more Nexus turret remaining. JinAir going in. Kube taking a lot of damage from Kuzan. They're going to get Wraith on the way out here. JinAir having to back away, taking a lot of damage in the meantime. And look at this. Look at this Samsung team, man. Have we reached the event horizon where Rise becomes this unstoppable god? Has that happened?
He's definitely a big threat right now, but it's a 14,000 gold lead, and they're still having the Azir is really just bad. Look, they finally figured it out.
There we go. They can just teleport right on top of that Nexus turret. All right, kill on the crown. That happened. Kuzan doing a lot of damage. Now the Nexus being focused down. They're going to take Sweet down one more time. Trace, a lot of damage there. Chaser coming in as well. Eve back to the fountain where he will throw spears of sadness. And Fury just autoing. There we go. Okay, so we're 1-1 now.
Wow. Well, on that same team, we think about Dade's Yasuo really influencing Pon's Yasuo play last year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because that knowledge can be shared quite easily. Are they going to take Evelyn also? And
Evelyn Nami.
And then,
maybe.
Look at that.
Wow.
So Evelyn Nami, and that means it is going to be a top lane Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I guess so.
Something that is very difficult to deal with.
Well, this is interesting. We haven't seen a Nami for a very, very long time.
Makes me wonder if they're going to play something like Caitlyn.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. I mean, it's likes to push
Nidalee.
fast, so. Oh, interesting. So JinAir actually taking the Nidalee here.
This is definitely not
oh boy.
a chaser style pick. And
No.
there we go.
Wow, Varus.
Varus as an AD carry.
Yeah, it
So
works.
Varus Nami for that poke. So you were going to get something long range with that Nami.
Yeah.
And that'll be Fury as our first Varus AD carry of this year.
Yeah, it has not been a terribly popular pick for a while in Korea, aside from, well, Faker playing it, GBM playing it a little bit in mid lane, but not at ADC.
Well, Fury, very skilled player, so we'll see what kind of ults he has. But the follow-up with the Petrifying Gaze, very good.
Yeah.
That's going to be their primary form of engagement. If they can hit an Eve ult as well from the flank, it'll make setting up the Chains of Corruption even easier. How he does in lane against Kalista, not exactly sure. This is a new matchup that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Varus can be a pretty safe laning carry if you choose to play him that way. You can sort of just sit back and farm a bit.
Still, low mobility in
Yeah.
that bottom lane, and that's going to mean that Nidalee ganks, if Chaser hits a spear, could be quite deadly.
Also pretty vulnerable to getting tossed out of a fight by an Azir as well.
Chaser has a lot of opportunities. They can get the Maokai route into the Nidalee spear as well in the top side. So really, Chaser should be focusing on the side lanes here while Kuzan just plays that Azir mid, farms up, and it'll be up to Eve to see if he can counter gank this Nidalee at all, bait him into a trap where he all ends with the pounce. And
That's right. Well, game 3, JinAir versus Samsung. Who takes it? Time to find out. The dedicated fans remaining in the studio here. JinAir versus Samsung, game number 3. And, you know, no matter how it ends up, it's nice to see Samsung taking games, you know? I mean,
oh yeah,
they clearly have issues, but again, like, what a huge improvement for this team in the offseason.
And they're not taking games at a really sloppy fashion earlier where they were just all-inning and rolling the dice. Samsung has a lot of strategic play now that was absent in their spring season. Going for the deep boards. Check that out. So Samsung should have a lot of poke, but I'm really worried because both Cassiopeia, Varus, their carries, are going to have a hard time dealing with Chaser Spears. There's just not a lot of speed there. If they land, the all-in can be pretty devastating.
Well, that's the whole thing. If they land, we don't know how good Chaser is on this Nidalee.
Yes, that is quite true.
Yeah. I mean, really, Eve has been the primary Nidalee player here in Korea.
I'm surprised they didn't go for the Nunu, but they a lot of players don't like the Nunu into Evelyn matchup because it's hard to lock down Eve with the Nunu. And Eve on Eve, the dream.
Tons of fun. It's happening. It's finally happening, guys. Are we saying the champion name? Are we saying the player name? Who knows?
It's for you to decide. Could
That's right.
be either. Take your pick.
It's all about what you want it to be.
All right.
A gentle fan.
Pilot going to take some poke early from that piercing arrow. And I'm wondering if Fury's going to build that tier first, which could put him in a pretty weak state against the early game power of Thresh, Kalista, and Nidalee.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about. Ooh, meanwhile, action down in the mid lane. Eve going on to Kuzan.
Going for one of those level 2 ganks, trying to put this rookie player off his game.
Yep.
And Chaser. Ooh, I love it.
Well, where'd he go?
He's Eve.
He's Eve. Can't see him. Who are you waiting for, Chaser?
He's going to check out that blue buff, though.
Or is he? He's not.
Right out of range,
yeah.
Unfortunately, for Chaser. Thought he was being clever. Didn't even try and throw a spear right there. Instead, he's going to come around.
Ooh, that was close.
Close right there. So Chaser waited for a long time for that,
wow,
trying to react to the level 2 gank, and Sweet taking a lot of damage down in that bottom side.
Yeah, that's one thing we hadn't talked about, is that Fury and Nami have a ton of poke in this 2v2
it's really good.
Between ebb and flow and the piercing arrow.
It's very annoying, plus the Nami shield as well. So, but it does put them in a situation where they have to push really far forward. Right. And also they were level 2 first, and Kalista has a lot of kill pressure, but you need some levels for the additional crowd control in the Thresh to really take full advantage of that. So we're not going to see them really hitting their stride until level 3 or 4. What will Chaser's timing be, as he was delayed thanks to his little attempt to take out Eve? That was not so successful.
Well, Fury and Wraith pushing that lane up really fast. Wow, there go the Twin Fangs. So Kuzan struggling a little bit more here in game number 3.
Well, did have to take the brunt of that punishment earlier and use all his potions, although Crown out of potions as well. Chaser is going to recall, pick up his jungle item. Let's see what upgrade he goes for. Looks like Trailblazer, all right.
Yep, just for a bit of quicker farming. No big surprise there.
And a pocket full of wards.
That's right. It's a good feeling to have a pocket full of wards. Get a lot of vision out of those. And so, this is pretty much what we're going to be seeing for a while.
Yeah, will be.
Yeah.
Until one of these junglers makes a move. Chaser going to pop over right now and start to set up this gank onto Kuve. It is important to keep the Rek'Sai down if you can. Rek'Sai currently at 50% HP. There we go.
Yep,
okay.
Right into a nice spear. Kuve in a lot of trouble. Goes
knocked
down. Oh, there we go. The spear, sapling, run! Okay, safe. Wow, Kuve makes it out.
Very close.
Yeah.
But great interrupt on the pounce with the unburrow. So Kuve reads that situation, prevents any further damage from going down, and is able to dodge out the spear in the end. Wraith continuing to poke onto Pilot now. Pilot has to use that potion first, so Pilot and Sweet really having a lot of trouble against this Varus lane, and Samsung playing aggressively, knowing that that would be the first pick and having some sort of answer. Oh, nice.
Flash Flay, but there's a slow immediately from Fury. Death Sentence doesn't hit. Fury just gets a bunch of free autos. Here comes Cassiopeia, though. Crown coming down. I don't think they're going to dive that, no.
Wow, that's an early roam for Cassiopeia, but Cassie went back first. Oh,
dear. Chaser, they got to body block this. Maybe. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
he tried to smite the minion before the spear got there even.
Oops. He messed up that combo a little bit.
Yeah.
May have been able to get a kill if he had actually hit that smite first before the spear did, but
it was a nice try. Yeah, they burned the summoner heal too.
Chaser really falling behind in terms of farm now. He's a level down and 10 CS, so Eve just power farming his way through the jungle while Chaser has a couple of back-to-back unsuccessful ganks. Didn't even get a flash out of Wraith, and a lot of summoners used before that little scuffle started from Pilot and Sweet.
Well, they got the heal and they got the exhaust, at least, so a couple summoners. Yeah, Chaser's ganks have been almost successful, which means they failed. Oh, that's a nice slow onto Pilot from Fury.
The old arrow's doing a lot of work right there.
Yep. Nice thing about Varus too is that he's not so much of a mana hog, so you can really harass a lot.
Yeah, and it really depends on where Fury goes with this. He's probably not going to get tier because that would put him in a super dangerous situation when Pilot goes back to get BF Sword.
Yeah.
Trying to stack that up, so I assume we're going to see an Infinity Edge here first onto Varus in these particular circumstances. And Sweet going to walk into a ward right there. Pilot not wanting to go back yet. Eve in the river. Can they bait this one out?
Maybe they have here. Wraith coming in with the ebb and flow. There's Aqua Prison onto Sweet. He's going to play Eve away. Yeah, teleport comes down, but first blood goes to Eve anyway. Teleport canceled. Cuvée not needed down there, and he's got Void Rush, so if he puts some tunnels down, he can move around the map pretty easily anyway.
Yeah, he can always get back to lane. Chaser going to use this opportunity to take away the red buff. That there's that first blood, and it's not on to the Kalista. And Kalista, if she doesn't get kills in lane, does not take over games in the same way that a lot of other AD carries do. She's mostly used as a lane bully and for her objective control, but you want to get a kill or two in the Kalista lane before the mid game, just right out of the laning phase, or else you can have some troubles. Cuvée just going to use his long network of tunnels to escape a potentially hazardous situation.
Not bad. Samsung, meanwhile, taking the Dragon down in bot lane, too. River. Very nice. So good early lead there for Samsung. A Dragon,
very nice.
First blood. Things going pretty well. Nice little CS lead for Fury as well.
And Chaser just not being able to convert on some of these ganks. Has that tier now. Maybe a little bit overly bold to take this in Italy when it's not a champion that we really associate with this particular player.
Now, Trace has gotten a nice CS lead over Cuvée because of all the pressure coming in that top lane. But ultimately, in the end, it's fairly minor. All right, then. Yep. It looks like it will be probably the Infinity Edge for Fury. He did pick up that BF sword on the way back. Pilot got his as well, too, so not really too behind as far as damage goes. But returning to lane with no pots, so he's going to need to be careful.
Yeah, Trace really starting to grow a lead here, even if those ganks weren't actually successful.
Oh, nice grab on the Wraith. Wow, there's the Flay as well to exhaust on the Pilot immediately. There are the chains, and Eve comes in for an easy kill. Looks like it's going to be two going to Samsung. Fury picks one up as well. That worked out pretty perfectly for Samsung.
Well, just the setup on the chain right there was so quick, and a little bit of a missed timing. Chaser not there, whereas Eve in the mix immediately to pick that up. 2 more kills. That's a huge lead on a Kalista lane, and showing the power of the Varus and the Nami here. 2 champions we rarely see anymore, but being used to devastating effect against this Kalista and the Thresh.
Well, yeah, I mean, between the passive from the W on Varus, between the Tidecaller's blessing damage that Nami gives you, plus the ebb and flow bouncing around, like, that's a lot of burst coming out of that lane.
And here comes Wraith. They really want to focus down this turret. Eve there just to make sure that Crown is safe as he continues to auto, but Kuzan, ever since that level 2 gank, really hasn't been able to stave off the Cassiopeia, and a lot of chip damage going down onto these towers as well. So this is a lot of gold that can open up here. Trace has to be the savior out of this top lane. And the Varus, he will drop off in terms of damage in the late game since he's primarily a poke champion. But he still has great initiation, and they're balancing it out with the Cassiopeia for late game damage, and they also have that big split push. Trace has a CS edge. He already has some sustain, as well as with the Catalyst, as well as the cloth armor, but that is still going to be a handful for him in the top side, especially if Cuvée does that Black Cleaver build that he did the first time he played the top lane Rek'Sai. Still, late game team fighting, even with the Cassiopeia, a little bit on the weaker side for Samsung. So it's a game that JinAir, with how much late game power they have on the Maokai and the Azir, may be able to pull out despite this deficit, but Samsung definitely getting the ball rolling early.
Yeah, it really is something that they need to continue rolling, though, because if they slow down at all, they might get overwhelmed in the late game, like you mentioned. But a good start so far. Nice little almost 2,000 gold lead for Samsung coming into the early stages of the mid game. And so far, this Varus looking really good. And here comes Eve again, really trying to punish this bot lane. Now, the summoners are up for JinAir, so it's not going to be as easy this time around, but again, with a good ult from Fury, might be able to make something happen.
Italy's back, looking for the counter gank. But again, Eve really focusing on the bottom side and punishing the aggression. They know they want the kills onto Kalista now.
There we go. Oh, the chains missed. Wow. And Kalista pulls him right out, going to throw him in. On to Nami. Nami turning around. Fury taking a lot of damage. Trace gets the kill there. Pilot comes in, gets eliminated as well. JinAir trying to turn this one around. Trace running interference here. Samsung fighting without their AD carry. They're going to be pushed back slowly. Actually, both ADs down.
Here comes
Exhaust on the
Azir.
Chaser. Yep, Kuzan comes in finally. Eve goes low. Kuzan gets a kill there as well. Trace fighting for his life against Kuve. They're actually going to bring Kuzan back into the back lines.
Nice.
Oh, and the slow
lantern.
That's
on
right.
to Kuzan to get him out of that situation. So a favorable trade there.
Crown not getting a good ultimate with Cassiopeia there.
Well, yeah, because they disengaged as soon as they saw it. Kuzan came in, got the kill, and then was lanterned out so they could avoid the petrifying gaze. They're moving into the jungle. A pass over a pink ward, seeing what they can get. Varus, in the meantime, making a beeline for the mid lane, which is already chipped down. He wants to get a turret if he can. Look, he already bought the Berserker's Grief for that little bit of attack speed so he can try and take down the mid turret quickly.
I'm a little bit surprised they didn't lead off with Tidal Wave there, because it seems like it'd be a much easier way to set up that Chains of Corruption rather than flashing for it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised about the way they engaged that fight. I think they did it the hard way.
Still, if you don't have... Tidal Wave is still... Unfortunately, both of those abilities are really best as a secondary engage tool.
I mean, it's one to set up the other, right? So the Tidal Wave goes across diagonally, and it pushes Sweet and Pilot forward a little bit right into the chains.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a replay of that so we can see if there was a better play to be made there. I didn't catch it the first time around, but they get the mid lane turret. Absolutely huge. So Samsung figures out a way to take that skirmish in the bottom lane and just immediately turn it into more global gold for themselves. And I love how Samsung has been turning into this team that plays early towers so well.
Yeah, it's something we haven't seen in Korea for a while, and they found a way to do it that seems to work for them. At least it works for them once per match anyway.
Trace moving down to the bottom side. There comes the Void Rush from Kuve directly to that tunnel that was left up in the bottom side. They can't really do anything about this dragon.
Well, second dragon taken by Samsung. There's a Tidal Wave in the chains on to Pilot. Oh, man, the auto doesn't quite finish him off. That was close.
Yeah, lanterning him out.
Ooh.
2 ults used right there to not pick up that kill, but they're going to get a tower for it more than likely. Chaser trying to auto, but a lot of members of Samsung immediately heading back. But
I think the turret's going to go down in favor of Samsung and bot.
Fury just, again, having his way with these early turrets.
Yep, no issues here. And Crown able to push back that mid lane now. So Samsung continues to maintain a little bit of a lead and maybe even grow it a little bit.
What I like so much about Fury as a player is that he is a great AD carry. Definitely very talented mechanically, does well in team fights, typically carries his team in that fashion, but he also doesn't necessarily prioritize farm. He does happen to be 60 CS up ahead in this game.
That helps.
Due to the poke and the zoning Wraith and he were able to do in their aggressive play. But he'll just leave and continue to push down turrets. He moves between lanes so quickly. He knows where he needs to be to apply the pressure on the map.
Yeah, very true. Finishing that Infinity Edge now, too, which puts him considerably ahead in terms of power over Pilot, because I don't think Pilot's got enough. Looks like he's going to go for the Bloodthirster first, rather.
No, now Trace does have a finished Frozen Heart, and that's going to be efficient as long as he stays in the side lanes and doesn't have to deal with Crown for a while. So the right priority there, just going Catalyst straight into Frozen Heart, seeing what he had to deal with in his lane as well as the incoming Fury after that bottom turret was going down because he knew it was slowly getting chipped. Eve going Warrior Enchant into Sheen. Super aggressive Evelyn build here.
Yeah.
That is going to fall off very hard in the late game. Samsung knows they have to hit this timing now to get these outer turrets down, and they're going to invest heavily to do that and continue to snowball.
Putting the ward down just to stay safe. The Trace is still lurking in the brush. Oh, now they see him. It's going to be a 4v3. They have to get out. Flash is used already. There's the Tidal Wave. Try to disengage, but Fury already hit with that Death Sentence. It was too late.
Clever.
That Tidal Wave was, I think, a little bit late coming out of Wraith there.
And that's the predictability of Samsung coming into play. Because you know when that tower goes down, Fury's not going to go back to the bottom side. They're going to try and make a play top immediately. Kuve starting to split push, however. Trace should be able to get back in time to save this turret. Kuve has that phage, so he's going into the split push build. with the Black Cleaver, but now JinAir may be able to answer this turret here. Nope. Kuve going to come right back up to the top side to save it, but this will give Maokai a lot of free farm in the bottom.
Yeah, and he's already pretty close anyway, so might even be a little bit of a lead for Trace after that. And meanwhile, Samsung not really too deterred. Crown pushing a little bit into the enemy jungle. They're getting some decent wards down, actually, to help them take out this final outer turret here. Vision-wise, they're setting themselves up quite nicely to do that.
Yeah, Kuve can teleport to bottom if he wants to, but that could set up Trace for another nice play. As Varus pushes out, Varus will have flash this time. There was a very nice timing from JinAir where they went on to Fury right before his flash came up in that last engagement.
Yeah, very true. For now, Pilot trying his best to defend this turret. Oh, gets it with an arrow there.
Here comes Eve again. Eve loves being in Fury's lane at all times. Always assume that Eve is there.
Yeah, you do kind of have to. Samsung kind of slowing down for the moment here. And Fury's arrows have been very, very good this game.
Certainly have been. Good accuracy. There's
Wow.
another one.
Yeah. Such a satisfying feeling to hit those two.
Taking out a Sentinel. Meanwhile, Wraith just hanging back in the pink warded brush, making it look like they don't want to shove quite as hard this top side, that perhaps he could be going down or warding towards the bottom side of the map. Minute 30 till Dragon. And at that point, Samsung's going to have to seriously consider whether they want this top tower enough. It has taken hardly any damage at this point.
I feel like Dragon should be the priority, shouldn't it? I mean, they've already got two. The potential to go up 3-0 on Dragons is pretty important.
Absolutely is.
More important than that top turret right now, anyway, it would seem.
Eve is just so squishy.
Yep.
You can't really team fight with this build particularly well because he can get 100 to 0 to the instant, especially if he gets W'd by Maokai. That is not going to be pretty for him. He will take one burst and that'll be it. Finally gets some Merc Treads, has a Ruby Crystal right now, but pretty delayed tankiness build. And this is where I start to wonder what this Sheen's going to turn into. Because there's an outside shot this is going to be a Trinity Force right now. It would be unlikely, but possible. Oh, Wraith.
Oh, Wraith gets caught. There's a nice Aqua Prison onto Chaser, though. Oh, the spear! Oh, no. Was it worth it? Was it worth it, Wraith? No, it wasn't.
It wasn't worth it.
Not with the Dragon coming up in 20 seconds.
He got the Aqua Prison there, but then stuck around for a heartbeat too long.
Well, his health was so low. I mean, I don't really know what sort of follow-up he was expecting out of that.
Is Kuve going to take top tower, though, is the question. No, not quite. Not quite.
Close.
Very close.
Well, Dragon's up. We'll see if Samsung can delay things long enough for Wraith to get back, because they really need him for this. I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
No.
We'll see what the poke is like from Fury. That could actually change things.
Well, can they get through the choke, though, is the question against this Azir, who can just wall that off. Chaser going to take it. So that is a very crucial delay. Also, Trace not having to TP out of the top side means the awkward interactions with Unburrow and Twisted Advance right there. But Trace having a hard time holding in the Rek'Sai at this point, in spite of already having Ninja Tap eat a frozen heart. This is how brutal this Rek'Sai is. And Rek'Sai doesn't even have the armor penetration yet from the Black Cleaver, the stacks, or the armor shred, rather.
No, it's just Rek'Sai. Now the Sturt should go down.
No one up here to save it, so Kuve is just going to punch it in spite of Trace. And that is some more gold there. They're trying to follow up with...
Are they stuck? Okay, there we go.
He's trying to buy time for Chaser to get up there, but Chaser way too far away to complete that roam into the top side, and they're just going to have to be happy with handing the blue buff over to Kuzan. Man, Pilot is so far behind now.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for this Klutz to ever do any damage. And even though JinAir got that Dragon, they still have lost all their outer turrets.
And they have 0 themselves.
Yeah.
the flip side of this is that entire gold lead is coming from turrets, pretty much, from Samsung. So, if they can knock down those outers in return without losing any more, they're going to be in a good place just to even up early.
That is a fast Baron, and I mean, it will be going down really quickly. They've got the ability to take it out fast, and
yep,
they're going to get
nice
it.
play.
Very nice play.
Smart play from Samsung. The blend, or the orb comes in too late. They have Black Cleaver. They have Cassiopeia. They have the Eve with the Warrior Enchant and the Sheen. That Baron died so fast.
Yeah. Very good timing for Samsung.
And it was right after the Black Cleaver came up, too. So they go back, buy their items, make an attempt onto the Baron, take it out nearly instantaneously before JinAir can react, and that's it. So the question is Samsung as polished on some of these other compositions? This one's looking really good as well.
It does.
They had a plan for the Callista, and they played it out. Eve in the right place at the right time, putting Chaser on a pick in this Nidalee that he wasn't able to have success on those early ganks.
Now Kuve is split pushing the bot lane again as Eve comes in to take a little bit of vision back.
And this is so nasty, too, because having the Rek'Sai now with the Black Cleaver power spike in a split pushing position is great for Samsung.
Wow, and if Samsung beats JinAir, that just throws the entire rankings out of whack, doesn't it?
Does make a quite interesting scenario. JinAir would fall to 2-2.
Wow, Kuve is just going to take this turret. Nothing's stopping him.
You can't do anything about this. This is why top lane Rek'Sai is so good. This is why JinAir was banning Rek'Sai and first picking it earlier in this series, but they got baited into the Callista trap.
Yep.
And they didn't take... They were in a weird situation because in pick and ban, you know Eve plays Nidalee quite well. So do you try and... You know they're going to take it even if you take the Evelynn early in the draft? So, do you try and take it away yourself? No. Instead, Samsung responds with an Eve pick of their own, forces Chaser onto Nidalee. And now we're here.
Yep. Nidalee is not working out terribly well for Chaser. He's been doing okay, but can't stop these turrets from going down, and that's kind of the important thing.
There was not enough wave clear.
Kuve just going for another one. No, nobody coming down to help.
You literally can't do anything about this.
This cannon minion's going to sit there all day.
You can't 1v1 this Rek'Sai. There's nothing you can do. You just sit there. Oh, wait. Kuve's going to go underground and heal himself up again and then get another Baron-empowered wave. You have to send 2 people.
Doesn't look like they're willing to commit that yet. I mean, as soon as somebody else moves down to that bot lane, they're going to lose something in top or mid.
No, this is a perfect situation for Samsung. This is how you snowball out this comp. They're playing it very well.
Yeah. Kuve just doing a little bit of damage. All he needs to do is walk up and hit the turret, though. Wow, actually getting Trace extremely low.
Can't do anything?
Nope.
Trace doesn't even have home guards yet. You better have enough money to get them right now, or that inhibitor turret is dead.
There we go. Meanwhile, the tier 2 in top lane goes down. Trace comes back.
He's scared, but now he sees some more people in the mid lane, so he's just going to keep punching that turret.
Yeah, he'll get it right about now. Yep.
Jeez.
There we go. And Kuve can just walk out. Samsung really making it look easy at this point, because it is for them.
It really, really is. Kuve is so good at this top Rek'Sai. He knows exactly what his limits are on the split push.
Yeah, it really seems that way.
And they're limitless. There we go. Crown back now. Starting to build into a Luden's Echo, would appear.
Yeah, looks
Getting that splash damage and then heading right over for Dragon. Going to hit it on the money for number 3. And Rek'Sai back at the top side now. Damn, Kuve's annoying.
Yeah, no kidding. And he can get back to that Dragon pretty much anytime they need him as well. He's got a tunnel over by the bot lane.
So let's talk. Over-under on Zion Spartan using Rek'Sai in CLG's next game.
I don't know, pretty good. I don't have him on my fantasy team, so I haven't been paying attention.
Just player loves the split push, so it seems like this is a strategy that'd be right up his alley.
Well, Dragon number 3 going down to Samsung. Goodbye. Goodbye, Dragon. And hello, massive lead for Samsung, and hello, possible defeat of a top 4 team by Samsung.
Well, this is, I'm happy to see Samsung actually have something else left here. Yes, it's something that they've shown us before in the top lane rec side, but they've got some depth to their comps now, and Fury is so good that you really have to start thinking about how you're going to contain him.
Yeah.
Because he manages to pull out the Varus and make it work against the Kalista, and they get everything they want out of this draft. Absolutely everything.
He's played it out very well. They're going to grab Kube. Finally, everybody going in onto this Rek'Sai. He actually missed going through his tunnel, got pulled back out again. Kube in a bit of trouble. Chaser picks up the kill there. So finally, 3 members of JinAir getting together to take down Kube.
Only took 3 people, you know, whatever.
Yep. I mean, one of the other lanes are pushing up as well. Baron up in a minute 20.
Kube has the Thornmail for good measure. Now the downside to the Rek'Sai is that the Rek'Sai is really terrible as a top laner in 5v5 fights. Great in terms of split pushing, but offers so little compared to something like Maokai when you come to the damage reduction from his ultimate, and of course his sustain without having to go underground, so he can keep dealing damage while sustaining in a team fight with his passive. And of course he just has a lot more crowd control effects. So
right.
That late game is probably not going to be reached by JinAir here, considering the massive gold deficit, but that's how you have to beat it. You have to figure out how you're going to contain the Rek'Sai in the early game and stop him from taking all your turrets, which is something, a conundrum not yet solved by JinAir.
Yeah, apparently. 6-0 would seem to substantiate that claim. Oh, well, another slow, grindy finish for this one.
Yeah, not so slow. I mean, we already have an open inhibitor at 29 minutes, and we've had one for a while.
Another grindy finish for this game. It's like when he hit Nami with a spear, it like forced a bubble out. I don't know.
Just she spurts bubbles.
Sprung a leak. Oh, wow, that works. Well, you can just get a little bit of health back pretty easily. And is it Baron time?
The Sentinel fleet, the Sentinel armada here in the jungle, just making sure that they prevent any further Barons from going down. They do kind of need Kube up there for this Baron.
Yeah, they do. Luckily, he's got a tunnel in the Baron pit. Ooh, here we go. Coming in now, Eve coming from the side. There's a nice tidal wave. They lock up Sweet. Good Aqua Prison as well, too. Can they finish him off? It looks like they can. Trace running through there now, and Fury giving chase. A lot of damage coming in from the Twin Fangs as well. JinAir turning around on this one, but Samsung says, all right, we've got the support. We can go back and just start baiting again.
3 ults on that, though, so they have to be actually very careful in taking this Baron. Of course, Crown trying to position himself for a petrifying gaze if they come in through that choke point, but the poke is there.
Yeah, that's right. Azir actually doing a lot of damage to Crown here. He's got to hide back behind the pit. Trace looking to go in there. They do take the Baron anyway, but that's a lot of damage onto Samsung. Can JinAir take people out? Maokai getting the back lines. Eve having to escape over the wall, and Samsung getting absolutely destroyed in that team fight.
And now the turrets are going to go down, which is going to cause a massive gold swing here for JinAir. And that's why it's so dangerous. You don't have a very tanky team, and you had already dropped your Chain of Corruption and your tidal wave, so how do you disengage from this? When the Maokai comes in, look at this damage coming in after the Baron shred. Pop, everybody goes down, and you're dealing with poke coming in from the side and no way to escape.
Crown had
so dangerous.
Oh, Crown had like one of the worst Cassiopeia ults I've ever seen. It appears that they're going to come close. I think they will.
Are they going to go for it is the question. Looks like they are. Wow, JinAir, that's a huge turnaround.
Yeah.
They have the Lantern to get out safely. So JinAir closes the gold gap to within 5K despite being down 2 Barons in this game.
Yep. Oh, Rek'Sai going in. Oh, he's not. I thought he was going to try to backdoor that inhibitor. Yeah, but they're going to try to flank instead.
They're not in a position to fight, though. He can't do this. He's actually going to get seen right here. This is
they're going to do it. Well, Smites the red buff.
Nice
Well,
parting
right.
red buff take as they continue to kite through.
All right. Oh, Chaser. It's delayed for the moment. I thought he was going to try to go and take the inhibitor or something. There goes a tier 2. So we'll see how slowed down Samsung is after all this. Eve still has the Baron buff, so if he kind of moves between lanes and buffs some minions, they can still put some pressure on, I suppose.
So it's still going to be pretty hard.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. They need to be able to split push with the Rek'Sai. They can't group as 5. That's not really the position they want to be in right now.
Well, it's a bit awkward. Yeah, I think a big part of that, too, is at the beginning of that fight, Crown flashed over the wall and ulted absolutely nobody.
Oh, that's really rough. That definitely would have changed things.
Yeah. Yeah, huge miss there.
All right, so Dragon going to be contested. JinAir wants to get that poke in first. Eve setting up for a flank. Pilot not there. They see Pilot with a ward, so they're going to try it all in this Dragon before he can actually reach his destination. Lantern is down.
Eve potentially coming in from behind, too. They might try for another
But they have a pink ward here, so I think they'll be able to see him.
But will they see him soon enough, though? Chain's coming in onto Trace. Here comes Eve in the back lines. They put down the box. Tidal Wave doesn't hit anybody. Wraith gets taken out by Kuzan immediately. There goes Eve. And JinAir turning around this fight again. And here we go. Now Maokai getting in the back lines all over Fury. Fury with a nice piercing arrow through the middle of everything. And JinAir taking a lot of damage. But in the end, it's going to be JinAir with the ace, just barely.
Can they finish this game? They have the Azir. And wow, there is Chaser right there. He's not alive at the moment. Trace has no TP, so he can't go back. They're going to try and finish.
I guess so. They've got super minions.
They have Azir with his Sand Soldiers to kill the turrets.
That's true.
There's
going to do a lot of damage.
It's going to be, it's probably not going to be close, actually. They should be able to finish this one. And that is the danger. You can't fight 5v5 with this composition, even with that kind of lead.
Don't worry, man. Nami's got this.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker for Samsung.
Oh, they came so
They're trying
close.
to defend.
Well, Eve is there. He might be able to kill him in the sweep, but I don't think that Nexus is going to survive. Kuzan trying to do his best impression here. Oh, 1 or 2 more. Oh, man. Oh, the Nexus gets taken out at the last second. And JinAir takes a pretty unlikely 2-1 in this best of 3.
Well, that was some good poise by JinAir to come back.
I suppose.
And to force those fights.
They really pulled that one out of the fire, didn't they?
Samsung fell apart at the end of that one.
No
they
kidding.
really did. They forgot their win conditions, and they had that naked inhibitor that they could have just repeatedly pressured until the end of time. But instead, they decided to take fights. And you just have to remember, be very crystal clear, top lane Rek'Sai is not for team fighting.
Well, still improvement from Samsung, and clearly have some things to tighten up, obviously, but overall a strong showing against arguably one of the better teams in the tournament.
I actually am very impressed with Samsung. That they've been able to come into this season and actually give teams like the KOOTigers and JinAir a run for their money.
Pretty solid debut by Kuzan on JinAir, too.
Yeah. And Trace actually did the most damage to champions out of anybody in that game.
Wow, don't see that often. Interesting. Wow. Faker's Varus game still doing almost more damage than both teams combined.
Both top laners actually doing the most damage on their respective teams.
Interesting.
And 1 and 2 overall. So there was just a lot of trading in that top side too, because they were constantly fighting due to the sustain that they have on their passives.
Yeah.
Fury.
Oh, that hurts, man. Fury had such a good game too for the vast